Okay.
Got all the steak. Thanks.
Hello,
Rob.
welcome to Juggz.
You just
Hi.
moved all of the cameras.
Okay.
Welcome to. Whoa!
We're all blurry and sparkly today.
I think I've done the audio. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Juggz.
Have you done the audio?
Yeah, the audio's there.
Is it
It's
there?
working,
Are we
yeah.
in? Are you sure?
Yeah. Welcome to Juggz.
Don't look sure.
I can see it and it's press record.
This is just the intro now.
Yeah. Welcome to Louise. Hit us with an intro.
Welcome to our Juggz. It's
Oh.
us.
Oh,
We're
nice.
back, baby.
With-
Can we have
back.
that every
With your
week?
finest host, Mr. Peach.
Hi, finest toast.
And
Oh,
then the
nice.
second finest, Mr. Rob.
Oh,
And in
but the
third
hottest
place-
host, Louise.
I didn't
There's
get
no one
hottest.
there. I wanted finest.
We have no guest today.
No.
Today's
Yes.
episode is what it's always is, just a big bag of jugs.
Big bag of Juggz.
Big bag of jugs.
We skipped a week because we were all really sleepy
We were all really sleepy. It was a tough time to be alive.
in the hobby.
Oh,
It
I
was-
was
Where's your
waiting for
hat?
it.
Oh my god, yeah, I
Where's
have
your
left.
mug?
My
Oh,
mug
the
has
mug's
been.
been stolen.
Do you know the mug has been stolen?
Yeah,
it's
I
doing a
knew.
world tour.
So is Teen got it?
No, Tina had
Tina,
it,
sorry,
and
not
then
Tina.
Annie from Bad Squiddo's got it,
And
who's going to be on a
now-
guest in the future.
yeah, and now I think it's just being passed like the Olympic torch between women in the hobby as a kind of "fuck you, Rob" sort of deal.
Nice.
And I kind of love that.
And then
now-
Tina made
now
me a
we're-
hat.
Then Tina made Rob a hat, which says it's hard to be a man in the hobby with a little picture of Rob crying on it.
Yeah. It turned out I didn't know that what I thought was a really friendly joke would turn into me being bullied by women in the hobby all over. Rough.
We,
Well, some people
we
just
made
don't find it a joke, though.
Oh,
we
yeah.
discovered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rob.
losers.
Yeah, Rob. Why are you like this? I
Oh.
might still be sleepy.
Thanks everyone for sticking with us and our jugs, which is fun. I hope you're all enjoying the show so far.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Yeah, so we took a week
What
off.
episode are we on now?
This is episode 14.
14.
Episode 14.
Nice.
Yeah, I triple didn't. So I was trying to do the thumbnail the other week for the last episode, and then Louise was like, "I'm not sure I like any of the pictures." I was like, "Fine, no pictures." Yeah, I just
thought
put no
that.
pictures
Liz
up.
literally
How did it go?
said,
I
what-
didn't see.
It did fine. Like everyone watched
Really?
it. Everyone watched it. I just put no pictures up. Didn't even think about
I
it.
thought about that, and I was like, why didn't you just make something else? But Rob doesn't like making Rob, one of Rob's biggest things about being a YouTuber is he fucking hates making thumbnails.
That's true.
Just
Tell people the deep lore. The
the deep
lore.
lore is that Rob doesn't like making thumbnails, and not only that, but he refuses to learn Photoshop.
Oh.
So
That's not true.
How long?
That's
have,
not. None
how
of
long
that's
have
true.
you been?
I can't
how long
do
have you,
Photoshop.
No. How long have you been using Photoshop ambiently?
Oh, like I don't know, 12 years.
But he's
Maybe 14
he's
years.
never learned how to like draw a square.
It's because when you have the time, this is the thing. That actually,
When do you have the time?
I'm being serious for a
You've
sec.
been a YouTuber for 8 years.
I've been serious for a second because the thing that's impressive about Peachy is not only did he launch his channel and also was teaching himself
And learned
media
everything.
literacy at the same
Yeah,
time.
everything.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Did you know any Photoshop before you started?
Not really, no. Not
Do
particularly.
you know any now?
A bit.
More than you, probably.
Whoa, I can do boxes now, all sorts of
I've
stuff.
got a really handy app, so I use that.
That
I've got
is good.
Photoshop.
Yeah.
It's very different. It's very different because you're like, oh, you don't know Photoshop as someone who professionally got paid to do Photoshop for years for a major company. It's very different. I can do some stuff on
What
Photoshop.
can you do in Photoshop?
Make thumbnails that are excellent. My favorite thing I did for a while was I would do Battletome
Okay,
reviews.
Trump.
I would do Battletome reviews, and all I would do was just flip my one thumbnail picture from both sides.
I remember there was a
really good.
period of time where you would just flip back and forth on each side of the screen, reacting to what was on the other side.
I've
of
used
the
the same photo multiple times for
I
mine.
haven't yet,
Yeah, I
but I'm
have.
feeling like that's a totally fine thing to do.
Yeah.
Because everybody does it.
You know what you can do? This is what I do, is I use the same body, just chop out the head and change the facial
That's-
expression.
Oh yeah, but you put that's like a funny Peach. That's almost
I always
like
put my face
Yeah,
on
yeah.
models.
yeah, that's almost like a signature Peach thing
Is it?
now.
Oh,
I
should
think,
do it.
I think it
Should do it
is.
more.
I
Your
think it
thumbnails
is.
are getting towards art, I
Yeah,
think.
I really,
Like
I said this.
crunchy
I
art.
really like your thumbnails,
I
and I
like
think
them.
it is a signature that you kind of do chop your head off and put it on other things.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
quite
yeah.
like that.
I feel like it's the first time like a piano player ever like stood up, kicked the stool back, and just started like playing some
Jazzing.
like jazz or rock and roll, and everyone was like, "What is this?" Yeah.
That's Peachy's thumbnails.
So how have we all been? Peach, let's start with you. How have you been?
Good. Yeah, I've had a busy couple of weeks with doing some videos. That was good. What have I done? So when this is out, I'll have my varnish video because I talked about Stargrave, which was fun.
Did you explain it clearly?
What varnish? No.
I ain't
No.
I'm eating the sweet
I got it. Yeah, Stargrave was fun. I really enjoyed doing that. It was not as a success as the Frostgrave one, but that's fine because that was quite weird anyway, how that went quite viral. So I was quite surprised by
What,
that.
the Frostgrave video?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
went really well.
Yeah.
So what happened?
For me.
What happened with the Stargrave video? Like, what's in it?
It was very
A
much a
similar
similar
thing,
format,
yeah.
but I'm talking about Stargrave. And the great thing is, it's the same rule system, right? So if you
Easy
know
to learn.
Frostgrave, you don't need. The only difference is you got laser guns and no space magic. Well, mind you, might have some space magic. I don't know, maybe you do, but it's the same game. And someone did ask me in the comments, so like, could I, in theory, have like a starship crew land on a planet and fight against a load of wizards? I was like,
Oh, that'd be cool.
I've seen that episode surely on Star Trek at some point.
All the time.
Yeah.
Best Star Trek
'cause
original
it's the
series.
same rule
Would you
system.
want to do that episode yourself?
Yeah.
There we go.
That would be
Absolutely.
fun.
That would be fun. I would watch.
You
I
have
would
to,
watch
if they
that.
land on the planet, they all have to be Greek for some reason if you're doing a Star Trek episode.
Yeah, and
Why?
Yeah.
Is that like a trope?
Yeah.
it's like
yeah.
they're always in togas.
They're
and
always in togas.
Oh, they are. You're
Yeah,
right.
it was like 60s space
Oh.
togas.
left
Oh.
a tea bag in.
Oh, with your tea.
I thought something was chewy a minute ago when I took a swig.
Oh no, that's really gross. Do you not like teabag? Is that like a big ick?
Yeah, it's a big ick for me.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
Rough.
sometimes when I go like
I don't mind
to
a tea
Costa
bag
or
in.
Starbucks, like a lot of the times they take the tea bag out or they
Yeah.
you take the tea bag out. But sometimes I just forget and I'm there swigging and suddenly I get a mouthful of tea
A,
bag.
a hot, soft
Yeah.
mouthful of tea bag.
I mean, I like my tea.
I love the deep lore that now we know Peachy teabags himself sometimes.
But never on purpose, and he always hates it.
Yeah. Not a fan of
This
tea
is
bagging.
it's a good deep lore episode.
It's a good deep lore episode.
Oh,
So
Peach.
you are happy with how it went, or like you're
No,
unhappy?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, as my other videos I've been doing, it's very similar to that anyway. So like numbers and stuff. I was talking to one of my patrons, Scott. Hi, Scott. Scott from Alaska.
What's up,
Charlie
Scott?
calls you Alaska Scott, by the way. if you
Alaska
wondered.
Scott. Oh,
Alaska
that's
Scott.
cute.
Because I'm talking to Scott today. He's like, is that Scott from Alaska? I was like, yeah, that's Alaska
Does
Scott.
he know
then,
where?
Dad.
Does he know the importance? Does he know how far away Alaska?
He has no clue.
Yeah. Okay.
He thinks Middle Earth exists.
It kind of does though.
Because when I was trying to point out
In
that
the
one of the
hearts of
Perry
children.
twins is in the Hobbit,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's him coming out of the water there because he's like injured.
Yeah.
And Charlie's like, he was at Dale. I was like, no, it's a movie. It's
Oh,
he
adorable.
doesn't quite
Object
get it.
permanence. Yeah.
No.
I can't remember when I formed that.
It's great.
Like
Love
I
it.
can't remember when the first time I realized oh, it's not real.
Yeah.
I think it was a smooth
Because
transition.
because your son's just got into Lord of the Rings, right?
He has,
Yes.
yeah. A little-
Which is amazing.
I'm going to say
Tell us the
I'm gonna
story.
say
Oh
it.
yeah,
It's a
tell the
good-
story.
it's a
Tell
good
the
story.
story. I
It's a great
love this story.
So he's been watching The Hobbit, enjoyed The Hobbit. He won't watch the third Hobbit because his favourite characters, Thorin, Philly, and Killy, or die. Spoilers.
Fair.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So he refused to watch it for a week or two, and then
Wait, did you tell him beforehand?
I've had to a few times. Yeah, like just to let you
Really?
know these guys die. He was like, "Does that one survive?" I'm like, "Yes, that one survives." He likes the information beforehand.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
I've never heard of people doing it that way, where you kind of prep him, just so you. I like that.
He goes in
How
better
old is he,
prepared.
for context?
Six, coming on
yeah.
7. So, but yeah, so we watched Lord of the Rings. Took him to his granny and pops the other day. I went to pick him up, and he just literally says, "No, we don't want no visitors, well wishers, or distant relations."
I love that you
And
said
I was
that.
like in tears.
I couldn't
of
even
pride.
remember that. Like the memory's pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Like,
so
that's
the
pretty
fact
good
he's quoting
recollection.
Lord of the Rings
That's adorable.
is just
At
top
6?
tier now. At
Wonderful.
6,
Yeah, that's great.
Wonderful.
And he
That's a
keeps
great movie to have on repeat as a kid, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I was worried they'd be quite scary, but you watch the Harry Potter films with like the Dementors, and they're pretty scary. But it was fine with. The only thing that scares him is when Bilbo goes to reach for Frodo's
And he
ring.
goes, hey. Yeah, that's
Like that.
literally like a jump scare.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. So
Like
that's
I
the
think
bit that scares
everyone.
him.
Yeah.
And he just goes out the room.
Just
That's
goodbye,
it. Just
father.
goes out the room, comes back in when it's done. It's like cool,
Yeah.
wicked.
That's
But
pretty
yeah,
rough.
Getting him into Lord of the Rings is
Pretty
great.
Yeah.
But yeah,
did-
sorry, I'll get back to the point. Alaska Scott was
Oh, yeah,
basically
Alaska
saying
Scott.
that your videos are great.
Yeah.
There's lots of other things that are going off in the world anyway that probably would affect your views and stuff. Because it's not like I'm getting hung up about the views. It's like sometimes just like, I would have hoped that would have done a
I
bit
get
better.
hung up
or-
about the views.
Yeah,
I
you
think
do.
I think I do. I think everyone does.
Share that story.
Which one?
that you get hung up about the views.
Oh, that's it. I've literally been on this podcast being like, I don't want to, and I would be like sad to admit that, like, because like I just really like the little community that I have, but when YouTube gives you, and it does, if you don't have a YouTube account, it literally will tell you in no uncertain terms
It's
when your video is underperforming.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's because
kind
we're
of-
working for them. That's
Yeah.
what's
I
happening.
know, but I kind of hate that, and that's a good point actually. Yeah, you're right. I'm kind of working for them, so they want you to perform better and get more views.
Yeah.
I guess hadn't thought about it like that, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like I would be so okay with a video not getting as many views as it usually does if YouTube wasn't like, oh yeah, did you know that this is the
Worst performing?
Yeah, literally, like YouTube will tell you. It'll be like, by the way, did you know less of your regular viewers are choosing to watch this? It's the 10th worst video out of the last 10 you did, and all of your stats are currently plummeting.
And you smell.
And you smell like shit.
sorry,
And
YouTube,
you're a little piss baby. Yeah, it literally tells
Yeah.
you that. Like as soon as you, like 5 minutes after you post a video, it will start feeding you stats, and it hurts my feelings.
I mean, from my point of view, it's like I've went into it knowing that because I've got a great Patreon community.
Yeah, you
They
do.
kind of like they're my support network, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones I care about. I make the videos for them. And sometimes, it might not be for everyone on the Patreon community because some people just want to see old world stuff. I need to do
Yeah.
more stuff on that. Some people just want to see Star Wars content. So I'm trying to tick as many boxes as I can. Then it goes onto YouTube just to go out into the masses. And, I might get some ad revenue from that, which is just extra money to then use to buy more
or
equipment.
people
whatever.
might see it and be like, oh,
Yeah,
he seems like a
join the
cool
Patreon.
guy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to join his Patreon community. Yeah.
But the numbers for me, it's not really about like I want to get like the viral videos. It's a measure of success for me. So I know like if I've hit 10K in a weekend, I know that video is doing okay and people like want to watch it.
Yeah,
So
I have like an average number in my brain
Yeah,
where it's like if
yeah.
it gets
So
this and it's okay.
I guess it's also hard to like. It's really hard. Like it's like cult films, right? Like if no one goes to the cinema to watch a film, it's considered to be a bomb.
Yeah,
Even though it might develop like cult-like status and be massive, because when people finally do watch it, they're like, oh, and that's
Yeah.
why word of mouth is so important,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, one of my favorite like movies ever
Oh, it's
now.
amazing.
Yeah, amazing. We went to watch it, but then like the next thing, I made sure I did my due diligence where like, next few days I'll be like tweeting about it and telling all of my friends and talking about it on stream.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is an amazing thing. And I think sometimes like, if you're watching a YouTube video, like I found a new like YouTuber yesterday. I watched a bunch of his videos. I showed my friend Chris, but I didn't like tweet about it or share it or, you know what I mean?
Since I've started YouTube, I've started to like and comment videos and subscribe
Yes,
so
yeah,
much
yeah,
more than
yeah.
I did before.
Yeah, because that's what people do to us, right? It's,
Yeah.
it's nice to
yeah,
be paid
it
a
makes
favour.
me feel good. So now I understand, I
Yeah.
guess, the thing
Importance of it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. But you enjoyed making the video anyway.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. What I don't want people to misunderstand is like,
Yeah.
it's because I care for the video and I want to do I want to do fun, cool content that when it doesn't do so, I'm like, well, what is it I did wrong in this one? What is it that's not working so well that people aren't wanting to watch it? And sometimes it could just be, it's really warm and everyone wants to be outside.
Yeah, it's been really weird.
Or like
just
this
might be
is
that.
for me it's like this is a you video, Louise.
Yes,
like you're
yeah,
making
yeah,
this
yeah.
video because you're the only person in the world that wants this video to be real.
Yeah.
And that's okay because it's your YouTube channel and you're allowed to be creative on it in your own way.
Yeah.
I have quite a few videos like that where I'm like, I just need to do this for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay as well.
No, I mean, I'm going to be doing one of those in a few months' time. So I've got one more battle report to do for Sharp, and then I'm going to move on to Necromunda, do a couple of little... again, I'm just going to do like 3 episodes for like a topic like Necromunda, and then 3 episodes for Stargrave. But what I want to do, it's just going to be a one-off, because I can. I really like the old 80s TV show called V.
Yeah.
you
I've got
said
loads of models
yes.
painted for that, and I'm just going to do a battle report where it's just a resistance fighting against a load of aliens,
Fun.
fascist aliens,
Yeah.
and shoot them in the face.
Shoot 'em in the
so
face.
Scott, you're the best because he
Alaska
did say
Scott.
Alaska Scott. 'cause
Alaska
he was
Scott.
like saying your battle reports are great to watch. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed watching them.
Agreed.
But your title, and I agree, the title. I've looked at other battle reports, and a lot of people would basically go, "It's this game, it's this episode." And it's called this.
Yeah.
But what I've done now is, like, we had a bit of a chat about it, is I've still called it like Sharp Episode 1,
Yeah.
Sharp's Wolf, Sharp
I
Episode
like
2,
that, yeah.
Sharp Silver. But I've got a little tagline at the front, like, I punched a Frenchman in the face.
Nice.
Oh,
Because
like a
during the
catchy-
game,
a catchy
yeah.
little like quote
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
from-
yeah.
So somewhere in the actual video, that would have happened. But I just thought it'd just
I
be really
can't believe
clickbaity.
my Necromunda Goliaths can fit what in their mouths? Battle report. It's 10 grenades.
How many bomb rats can this this
my
corridor stick up his
girlfriend-
ass?
My girlfriend can fit how many bomb rats up her ass? One.
Wow.
One. Yeah.
One.
One. That's
One.
exciting, Peach. I can't wait to watch that video.
I better get making it.
How many bomb rats can your girlfriend fit up her ass? That's the title for this. Wait, can that be the title
That's
for
the
this
title
episode?
for this episode now.
But how many?
2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I've been
Sideways or-
working on it. Well, one makes room for the other by exploding most of my inside. So
To know we get this
Okay,
dark
welcome
this
to the
quick.
show.
Yeah. But it's been good. I've been really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to doing some more. I've got some sponsored stuff coming up as well. So I'm always a bit nervous. Like people are like, "Oh, you're doing sponsored content. You've sold out." I'm like,
Sell
"Well,
out.
it's extra income for me to then make more cool shit."
Yeah.
So
everyone, like I've
Give
said
me a
this so
break.
many times, but literally, I cannot remember ever watching a YouTuber and then having a sponsored ad and me even registering it.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think the ads people know this, but like I don't even register that the ads there a lot of the
Or
time.
they
I'm just-
existed.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, literally. Like I've never thought like, oh, I'm clicking off because of this. Like I think you've got to be a very specific
well,
person.
what I'm trying to
think
do is
that.
only pick sponsors that I actually
Like.
am invested in and want to happily because
You
I've had.
genuinely love Raid Shadow Legend.
I do.
Which I
This is
love.
why people like when
know,
I did the
it's
Raid
so-
Shadow Legends video. I can't believe you sold. I was like, no, I'm on level 52.
Literally.
I'll stop playing the
I'm
game
actively
since I've
playing.
got it.
Before this episode started, I was like, oh, Peachy, there's something playing on your phone. Do you want me to close it? He's like, no, it's Raid Shadow Legend. I'm leveling up. Don't touch it. Like, genuinely, you love it, which
I do.
I find hilarious.
It's a great Kit Bashers resource as well because there's so many cool. Because you can go to the index and like look
Yeah.
at all the outfits and
Yeah.
models that or characters that you can buy, and they're just great for like now that I'm playing like Frostgrave. I'm like, ooh, that'll be a cool character for Frostgrave or Shadow Rangers of Shadow Deep or whatever.
Your brain is constantly working.
It is, and
It
I don't
is.
know, mostly to make me breathe and fart, but that's all I need really. And
That is all you need.
I do concentrate on farting.
Louise, what have you been working on?
I don't know. So I did my big lore video.
Which is
Did.
great.
How did that
was
go? Oh,
it.
wait, Peach watched.
No one was mad. Yay.
Oh, so no one was mad. Are you sure there was one person that was mad?
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Yeah, we were going to talk about that. No, there was loads of people who were mad, but not in the way I expected.
Yeah.
So, as we said in the last episode,
Yep.
was it last episode? I was a bit nervous about releasing it because it'd basically been done before by another content creator. I burped. So please don't keep that in. So I wanted to make it a little bit different. So I spent an extra week on it. And it was huge. It ended up being 51 minutes long, which is crazy
I got a lot
long.
of basing done during that.
Really?
Yeah, it was good.
But loads of people really liked it, and nobody was there. One person said, "Oh, this just feels like a copy and paste of what other people have done," but I knew it wasn't.
That's good.
So it was okay. But then the thing we're laughing about is, as with any, and it seems to be the lore ones
Yeah.
that these people come out most in, and I don't know why. But every single time I
Very
do
precious.
a more like, maybe that's it. Maybe it's because they're like, oh, my lore is the bastion of masculinity.
I would say that the law people are the people who are least in the hobby, like not like you know the because
Do
you.
because
What I'm trying to say is,
I watch lore on like things that I'm not even particularly invested in.
yeah, but that's my point, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like
Yeah,
if
I
you
watch,
if you go to
Elden Ring lore, and I've never played Elden Ring. It's just cool.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if you go to wargaming event, Warhammer event, yeah, or go down your local club and play, like, cool, right? That's I think you're invested in like
Good.
in that, right? Like that's where you're at. But like these people who get super aggy on your YouTube comments, they've never even been near a mini.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've never even
That's why the
visited.
meme
That's
is
what I
like
think.
post your miniatures, and then they all delete their tweets.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10. I mean, we're not going to tie everyone with the same brush, but yeah, you're right. Most of them tend to be like just that's all they're interested in is the background. I used to get that in retail. We used to get people in that only cared about
protecting something that they once had.
yes, yeah.
or feel strongly about or something like that,
Yeah.
or but either way, so I did get I think because like I said, we've all been frickin' tired last week. We had like we haven't even talked about Tom getting married.
Tom got married.
Yeah, we've had like the busiest 2 weeks.
You all look great.
Ever.
It was Louise's birthday.
You all look great.
Oh yeah, it was my birthday.
Put please in the comments below. Happy birthday to Louise.
Thank you. I'm
Happy
old.
birthday to you.
Happy birthday. And then Peachy, it was your birthday. Wow, your birthdays are close, you two.
Yeah, pretty
I
close.
think it's like a week between, like, it's mine, then a week later it's Hattie,
and then
well,
you and Hattie's are like 7 days apart,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then yours
and then
is a
it's
little
me
bit
like
after.
2 weeks later.
2
yeah.
weeks after. I can't remember if it was a week or
Either
after.
way, so there was one person in the comment section, and I think like this is a multifaceted story. So let's do it one step at a time.
Cool.
So there was someone in the comment section who was like, "How do you spot a tourist grifter? Or you just come to our channel or something like that."
Yeah.
And I got really upset because I'm like, he's wrong. And I'd spent like, so I did a tweet, and I don't usually like, and I'll take it one step at a time. So I did a tweet about it, and I was like, what more can I possibly do to not be called a tourist? Like,
I mean, you literally did art for the
did.
books.
I know, this is the funny bit. It's like, I loved Warhammer for years before I applied to work in Games Workshop. I applied at Games Workshop with a portfolio full of miniatures, and they were like, "You just like Warhammer so much, get in, I guess." And I worked there for like 7 or 8 years, creating artwork for multiple game systems.
Fucking tourist.
Fucking tourists. And then, like...
Disgusting.
And then I worked painting, teaching people how to paint.
Yeah.
From a position of some authority. And then I left to do it more.
Gross. Absolutely gross.
And then for this specific instance, I got arrested.
Oh, nice.
Wee woo. In this specific instance, I spent extra time on a lore video because I really like spooky Warhammer lore, because I heard about it in a campaign for Dark Heresy, which I played in my free time.
Yep.
And then I included artwork which I made from a project I worked on.
Yeah.
And then edited it and then released it for free. And then someone looked at all of that and said, "Grifter tourist."
Correct.
And I kind of went on Twitter because I was sad, because I was like, what more can I do? Like, I don't know what.
Ignore them.
No, and then this is the problem,
That's what I
is
do.
that I got a bit upset
It's
then
hard to
because
ignore.
like every 99 out of 100 of the shit comments I get, I delete and then ignore. And I think people see me posting one and they're like, "Why aren't you just ignoring it? Why do you give him attention? Why are you doing this?" And I'm like, I don't
I've
give
got the
him
comment here if you want it
Go on,
exactly.
go on.
It is, how do you spot a tourist of the hobby that helped ruin it?
That was
From,
it.
obviously, they can't spell from, but as a dyslexic person, I'll let them off with that. From the inside, just watch her YouTube channel.
It was from the inside.
From the
I forgot about
inside.
that
From
bit
the
as well.
inside.
Like, what do they think I did? Like,
you were a planet.
yeah, this is it. This is the other thing. It's like, how did I ruin it from the inside? Like, I didn't do anything
Because there's
that a
female
boy
Space Marines
didn't.
now, right?
But
Yeah.
I just
We
drew,
hope one day.
I drew boy Space Marines. I drew Titans, and I did maps and
Goblins.
goblins. And then there's then loads of. It's just like, I don't understand. And then there were more comments like that, which obviously I deleted and ignored, which were like, "You're nothing but a grifter and a fake."
Yep.
Well, we know you're not.
Eventually-
and a lot of
eventually-
How
people-
do they? Why do they? What,
Because
what?
they get into, there'll be like a little Discord
don't-
community full of like these incels.
Oh, one of them, yeah.
And
One
then,
of
like,
them,
they'll
one of my
post it
videos
and then-
definitely got posted there recently because I got an influx of views and then loads of shitty comments. But I just wonder what I'm doing wrong.
You're not doing
Nothing.
anything wrong,
But then
Louise.
why are they wrong then?
Well, it's the same way racists are wrong.
But racists think they're correct. I'm wondering how this person
You
thinks
can't work
they're
it
correct.
out. That's that you can't work it
try
out.
really
yeah,
hard.
but that way lies madness and isn't going to help you at all.
The moment you try to understand chaos, you become chaos.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's why I need a little break.
Yeah.
Because for me, I don't understand when people are wrong. It's maybe, because I'm a Leo.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, in my brain, I'm like, if they knew, they wouldn't have commented that.
So let's focus on the positives. Like the video went
Oh,
well.
the positive was that Peachy made a swear on the internet,
Oh, right.
and then everyone lost their shit.
Forgot about that.
You kind of stole the thunder because I was like, this happened, and I didn't expect the tweet to like get 2,000 likes and stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of felt a bit gross about that because I don't like partaking in those kind of discussions of like, because it attracts people to you, right?
The little dweeb made me mad. What can I
The
say?
little dweeb made me mad, and you're like, I'll fuck him up, Louise. I'll tell if he's here. Fuck you. And everyone was like, ooh, Peachy did a swear. And you're like, I'll do it again, bitches.
These people would never say that into anyone's face
No,
ever.
no.
I've never had a bad interaction with someone in real life about Warhammer.
No.
Like, ever.
Because they wouldn't, well, like Rob said, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't do
But
it.
I just don't understand. Like, how can someone's, like, why do that? Is it literally just because they see a girl?
Yes, that's all it is.
How is that smart, though? How do they think that's smart? Like, I didn't expect it to, like, get, like, 2,000 likes, and I don't really like that because... And then I was like, well, why did I post it? And I think I just needed to get it out my system, which is fine, because I've been very tired, so I guess I didn't understand even more. But, yeah, it attracts attention then, because then people start retweeting it, and then they get into those conversations regularly, and I was like, oh, do I just delete it? But I think it's okay.
Okay,
It went away. And yes, the video did do very well, which is good.
Okay, nice. And
Yeah.
this was the iceberg video.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, which is good.
Good.
So I'm happy with that. But
I mean, I've had people reach out and say things that I think sometimes it's just...
what do you mean reach out and say things like in comments?
In comments, and sometimes in like direct messages. And it's fine because like sometimes you're like, well, I'm trying to get my brain in gear. Like, what is it that you don't like about the video? What is it that has bothered you?
Criticism's fair.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I'm always
Like
up for
loads of
criticism.
people are like, oh, you missed this one.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't talk about this. And I'm like, oh, I should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I
or
get
my
some
audio's
really...
bad. I had a few people
Yeah,
say
oh,
because I
God.
had the Remembrancer doing some voiceover stuff,
Yeah.
and his audio. He says he has the same mics as us, but his audio is like the nicest.
Yeah.
So I put him next to my audio, and I was like, oh, I sound like crap. And there were a few people that were like, you sound a little bit tinny.
Yeah, I found that with the
compared.
Shark Bat report because I had Nigel and Landon both do some audio for me.
Amazing.
And my audio, because thank you again, Rob, for the mic, was like, how do I make all these match? Is there a way to try and make them sound
The same.
similar? And it was really hard. I found
It's
it a bit
very.
of a struggle.
I feel like audio mixing's very like personalized.
They say about an audio guy is you never notice a good audio engineer.
Yeah.
You never
yeah.
notice them. Like, but
Why?
you
Because it's just really good.
because it doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
But like you do understand. Audio's got to be one of the hardest things for video all the time.
Well, I was talking
Definitely.
His
to
is very good.
a sound guy and having a good
Sound.
chat because I was trying to get some advice as well. And they were saying that actually, how long do you take to edit a video? I was like, well, usually I film it on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably start editing it Wednesday, usually finish it around about Wednesday evening, maybe Thursday, depending on how back I am on how big the video is or how much effort is required. He's like, so how long does your audio take? I was like, well, I kind of just put it in within
Yeah,
that
literally,
time.
yeah.
And he was like, for me, audio is like a week, 2 weeks worth of work. I was like,
that
wow.
feels wrong.
wow. But that's because they make good audio, right?
Yeah.
They put
I
the
It's
gotta,
what
I
it
gotta
is.
ask Remembrancer because like his stuff was amazing, and shout out to the Remembrancer for helping me out with a very long video.
Yes, yeah.
Like very nice of him.
Follow-up question, Louise. Did you get your birthday Gundam build party?
Oh yeah.
oh,
we
that
did.
was so much fun.
Yeah, so it was my, let's do a little recap of why we're so sleepy. We had like loads of people visiting from loads of different places. I had Gage over from America from my Patreon. I love Gage. And then we had Anju over from Sweden. And then we had your friend
Dickie.
Dickie over from Canada.
Correct.
Wow, busy.
From Canada. So we had like loads of people over at the same time. It was, then I had like an event to do. And then Tom got married. Rascal Town sculptor Tom got married.
Beautiful. Insert picture here.
Just the best. It was such a nice wedding. It was a lovely, lovely time. We love Katie, the lady he got married to. She's great. And then it was just so much.
And you technically got married on your birthday.
Oh yeah, and that was it. That's
How
where it was
selfish.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he got married. He got married on my birthday day. So I managed, and it's kind of scary how easy this was to gaslight myself into thinking my birthday was on the 7th of August.
Nice.
Because I was like, on the 6th, I'm going to be too tired to enjoy my birthday. Let me have my birthday on the 7th. And I literally, like, I was filling in a form for, like, our application for a flat. and I put it in as the 7th, and I was like, oh, nearly did a crime there, because like I'd fully managed to convince myself that my birthday was on the 7th. So on the 7th, we had a Gundam party. Rob took me to a petting zoo, and I got to hold a little owl.
Nice.
What was the owl's name? I can't
Bluey?
remember. No.
Bob.
It was.
So begin with B.
Rob knows too. I can't remember what the owl's name was, but we were calling it Lil Egbert.
Yeah.
And it was a real shit owl.
He was tiny.
I don't want to say he was a shit owl. He was a great owl, but he was really small and useless. I was like, what's he going to do? He weighs nothing. And he was just looking around, and he was a great owl.
Just a bit
and then we pet some goats. There was a really big goat called Oscar. Was his name Oscar?
Yeah.
Oscar, and he was the best goat in the world, and he just loved pats. Weird thing about goats is they smell like goat's cheese.
Oh.
Like straight up.
I couldn't smell that.
And then I
I
had
had
like
goats once. I didn't remember them smelling like goat's cheese,
Yeah.
but then
so like they literally like I don't know if it's just me because Rob doesn't smell it either, but I
Rob
can,
doesn't smell like goat's cheese.
No, he just like
Not anymore.
he can't smell it. But yeah, they smell like goat's cheese. And then we went and bought snacks, and we had a birthday party, and we all built Gundams.
That's great.
That was
And
fun.
I want to know. Oh, you built a little waifu.
I did build a waifu.
Tell me about
Was
your
this the
waifu.
first one you've ever built, Peach?
Waifu
What, a
or
waifu?
Gundam?
Both.
I'm not the first Gundam. I was first doing the 30-minute sister,
Mm-hmm.
Nevaria, I think her name was.
Nevaria.
Nevaria. Oh, that's much. But yeah, good. I really enjoyed it, and you got interchangeable faces. I thought it'd be really hard to like keep swapping that out. It's actually really super easy to swap it out.
Yeah.
I want more now.
They're really
Oh,
cute.
really?
They're really cute.
Really
On the
cute.
back of you making that one, I did one of the 30-minute missions.
did,
And
yeah.
she's so cute.
Yes.
Fun.
And I definitely
And they're
want more too.
interchangeable.
Yeah, they are.
Which I was not aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're both big toy collectors, right? So
Yeah.
like this is like up your street.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy building them, Louise? I know you've been talking about this.
Love,
We were going to ask you, how did you find it?
I was gonna switch it round to you because it was your first experience ever building a Gundam. Rob.
Yes.
Well, wait, I've got an actual mic, but
Okay. Yeah, obviously well engineered. Clearly.
so tell us which one you built and why.
I do not know.
You built you were gonna go for a master grade, which is like the fanciest fancy, and then I went, Rob, maybe that's not such a good idea.
So I
'cause
just
you
built
only
a
have-
real grade.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was just I mean this in the nicest way. They all look the same. Like it was a robot.
Rude.
It was a blue and red and white one,
Rude.
right? I mean
That
that's the
narrows
hardest.
it down.
Like I bought another one that was like because it was like a red one and he's got two
a
samurai
samurai,
swords.
yeah, he's
and I was
cool.
like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you look at the rest, you're like, oh, they all look the same. So
No, I feel like little robot ladies like me and Peachy.
Well-
We're spoiled for choice.
yeah, they look
Like
different.
interchangeable boobs.
I was gonna buy you the boob upgrade. I'll do it next time I'm in town. I'll buy you some new titties.
When's the upgrade for the rats in the ass? When do I get that upgrade?
Any day, baby.
Any day.
Any day, baby.
Yeah, the engineering
Anyway.
was obviously really good. I still
You've
still.
not finished it. You only got, how far through did you get?
I got most of the way through it.
Did you?
Yeah, I got most of the way through it. It was fine. The thing is I've been painting this week a lot. But like I do stuff for purpose, and I just don't have.
What do you mean for purpose?
Well, I just would not just have something on the shelf.
You're
like-
not a display guy.
Yeah, I'm not a display guy,
Got
which
it.
you two are.
Oh,
like
very
you
much
have,
so.
you have loads of Lego and everything. You have Peach,
Toy
Louise.
collecting, yeah.
You have loads of like. I've never been that person.
And display miniatures. Like, we'll paint a miniature just because it's pretty.
Like, yeah, I mean, I probably might paint a mini for it to be pretty. But yeah, I paint minis so that I can play with them in games.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, or do
Okay.
terrain so I can play with them. So, like, I was like, it was really cool. The engineering is obviously, like, leagues
Tell me
above
about,
Games Workshop
because
stuff.
like, you're just saying that like it's like a drop. Explain.
The sprue layout's really clean. Like, it goes from, like, 1 to something. You know, they're
The
numbered.
23 and 24 aren't on two different sprues.
No, and
Yeah.
it'll be like, you know, you're looking for B and F.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Oh yeah,
that's...
they label sections as well.
Yeah, which is great. And obviously, because they do them in different colors, like you might be looking for like the white piece and stuff. That's fine.
That's true as well.
Yeah, like I would say that the sprue layout was good, like honestly, and it was
You
engineered
still
really
had
well.
the usual kind of like, I can't find that number a little bit.
A little bit. What was I? It was something I said to Oscar about it, the process. But I was like, this is fine. Like, genuinely. Like,
You still have to work to make it and find the piece.
Yes, you do. And you still, like, even, like, I was using, like, a good pair of clippers.
Yeah.
But you still have to do, like, a little bit. Like, you don't have to do any mold room. Like, on a Games Workshop Mini,
Oh, yeah,
even
there's,
a
like,
modern
no
one.
mold line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to do
I
a
don't
million mold lines, obviously. Like,
I wonder, it's just the engineering, isn't it? Like, we're saying engineering a lot, but that's it, isn't it? Like,
it clips together so much better than the Games Workshop miniature.
yeah, you forget it's push
no glue.
fit.
No
yeah.
glue.
No glue.
You
Yeah, it's
forget
all-
it's a push fit miniature.
Yeah. It pushes together incredibly well.
Like,
and
you
it's
don't
like,
even register it because there's no struggle.
yeah.
Right?
But like it's kind of as I was doing it, I was kind of in my head like, why am I doing this? Like I was doing does that
That's
make sense? I was like, I don't
interesting.
have any reason for this.
I said I thought you might not like Gundams much because of that. Because I'm like, yeah, the kind of enjoyment is sort of the building, and then afterwards, for me, and I'm sure you, is the posing and then
Posing,
the
yeah.
photography section is like its own little
None of that
hobby
for
in
me.
of
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas,
none of that for me.
because me and Peachy fucking love that shit.
Yeah, well, that's great. Like exactly, and I can see why it's really popular.
So do you not think that if you were like by yourself, just building it, that wouldn't be super enjoyable? Or
Oh.
do you think in the back of your head you'd be like, this is a bit of a waste of time? Because I got a load of messages, not a load, maybe like 2 or 3, of people being like, I tried Gundam, I didn't get it. It just took a really freaking long time to build.
Yeah, I think maybe that's it. I think like I really respected the engineering, and I could see myself in the future if I had time.
And they are really cool when they're built.
They are really cool
You
when
have
they're
a
built.
transforming one.
Yeah. Like I could see.
I know. I really want him to build it.
Yeah, I could see myself like being like, that looks wicked. That's really fun. But like
I need
right
the
now in my
display
life,
cabinet.
do I have X hours to build a thing
Well,
that looks
Rob,
like
I
X?
don't either,
Rob.
but I'm still doing it.
There'll come a time very soon when me and you will play some Necromunda games, and
Yeah.
suddenly those Van Sars will find some high-tech robot machine that I'm sure that Gundam will get used for.
Perfect.
Because
Love that.
I don't care about using Gundam in 40k.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah,
He doesn't give a Gundam.
yeah. He doesn't give a Gundam. Who
He
knows?
doesn't give a Gundam.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to like. If people love it as a hobby,
I
like,
love
I'm not
it.
trying.
I think I really love it.
Okay,
I
well,
think
I'm
I'm
not
going to
try-
be a little freak about it.
Well, I'm not trying to put down their hobby. It's just like I was like, this is cool. It's my girlfriend's birthday. This is what she wants to do. Same as anyone else. Like, it's your girlfriend's birthday. She wants to go to I don't know the whatever someone wants to do, cinema. I don't know, whatever. You do that, right?
Yeah.
I was like, cool, and I did it with full gusto. I was like, let's have a good time. Let's do this. Would I do it again? Maybe. Like,
I want you got to finish your Gundam.
oh, I'll finish it.
What about
Definitely.
all the master grades you built? You bought because you were like,
I'm gonna
oh,
give
no.
him to Oscar.
Oh no! Can I have one?
Yeah, I'll give him to you. Happy birthday.
You can give one to Oscar.
Yeah, okay.
But
Can you just build my ninja one for me?
Yeah, I
You've got
was
a
going to
ninja
ask if
one?
I could
Yeah,
have
yeah.
your ninja one.
Yeah, just build the samurai one
Rob,
for me.
is this another case where I told you that you were going into something with too much gusto and you went, no, I'm not, and then occasionally sometimes that
Are we
happens.
talking about the pigs again?
We're not talking about the pigs
Okay, we're
again.
not talking about
We're
the
not
pigs.
talking about the pigs. But I shotgun one of your master grades.
Good.
That's
Good.
actually a great present for me, as you not enjoying it as much as you thought you would.
Well, no, I always knew that would be the case.
Uh-huh.
Like, and I was like, this would be a cool thing to build because it is.
Do you just
like,
now that you've done it, you realize you really don't have the time, and it's not worth.
that's
your
my issue.
output.
I do
Yeah.
not have leisure time. Have zero leisure time. Like absolutely none. So like the concept of
That's a
doing something
shame.
that is leisure for no purpose.
I
like
see. So
got a
like when
question.
you're, because I'm like, oh, you have time to paint, but of course you have time to paint because you're like, cool, but I'm gonna film a battle report with these next week.
correct.
Right.
Yeah. So
Got
I have
it.
zero time to do something that's
That's
like
not gonna pay off in the future for you.
Exactly.
And even me building them, I'm like, I'm doing a video on it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
And I'm
fair.
not.
Well, I wanna.
I got a question for
Yes.
you. So, of all your years of building plastic kits from Workshop,
Yeah.
what was your one biggest takeaway from a Gundam kit in comparison?
Oh, it's just better. Like.
So
it's
what about
ju-
like value for money as well?
I mean, yeah, I guess it was. I mean, because value for money is so dependent, right? Like, you'll buy a single £20 hero. My friend Nick would always say, heroes are the biggest scam you can get from Games Workshop.
What
Like,
single 25mm miniature? kind
yeah,
of,
yeah, like
or
exact-
whatever it is now.
Yeah,
40.
something like would be. So you buy a Warcry kit, you've got like 10 amazing hero minis there sometimes.
Yeah.
So like I agree with him 100% on that. But value for money is like a little bit. Obviously, Games Workshop sculpts now are very expensive.
Well, there's been a bit of a discussion about value for money recently, and I kind of get it when someone said Warhammer's really good value for money, and I'm like, I get it, but I don't, because you buy a Warhammer miniature, it's freaking expensive. Like, now that I've done Gundam, and I'm like, oh, the markup is actually huge. Like, it is. It's really big. But you paint it, you get loads of enjoyment out of painting it, and then you have something that you are proud of for the rest of your life, and you can play games with it.
So what do you think, Pete?
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't see... I think that's a misinterpretation. Because
Might be.
I get the same value out of a Frostgrave kit, and it's
True. Half the price.
more than half the price.
Wow.
It's the journey I'm going on. So if I'm spending £37.50 on 10 Imperial Guardsmen,
Yeah.
I'm getting the same value of money and time and enjoyment of going through the
And
process
kind
of
of end
building
result, yeah.
an end result than I would with a 44 pack of British Redcoats, which is 20 quid, not nearly 40 quid.
But you're paying what you're paying for is the brand and those sculpts. No one else has them. No one else can do them. You're paying for, like, if you want Imperial Guardsmen from Games Workshop.
Yeah, it is like buying Adidas, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
a
you're paying
brand.
for. I don't think I think they market it as you're paying for the quality.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the sculpts by some of the
I
designers
think
are
you're
like
right.
world class
Like,
sculpts.
I just want Games Workshop miniatures because they're Games Workshop miniatures.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
now I've delved into the realms of model agnostic games and stuff like that. I could grab a load of like Stargrave kits and make my own Cadians. I could make my own Mordians.
I think that's really healthy as well.
and I still get the same value out of that than what I would have done with Citadel kits. So
Yeah.
when people are saying that there are more value for money, I guess it depends on what your value is and what you get from
True,
it. So
true.
that's fair. But from my point of view of doing all the kits in the world of all different prices and costs, some kits are shit, right? I won't.
What, Games Workshop ones?
No, just other company ones.
Yeah, other
outside,
company
yeah,
ones,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
I'm not going to even say the brand, but I can't even remember the brand. But I got a kit recently, and I started building. And I was like, these are just crap.
As in
Yeah.
just like
They-
soft sculpts.
So they were soft. They didn't go very well together. And I was like, this is why people think anything that's not Games Workshop is shit, because
Yeah.
this was their first experience of a non-Games Workshop kit.
Yeah.
Whereas actually the Frostgrave stuff, the Stargrave stuff, the Perry stuff, the Renedra kits,
the
all the other
Frostgrave
plastic
stuff's
kits out there.
amazing.
Moonstone
You
stuff
really
is
turned
really
me on
nice.
to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, for me, with the Frostgrave stuff, and a few people in like the comments have said, like, you know, they're not to the standards of Games Workshop models. That's fine. If you're happy to have 1,000,000 rosary beads sculpted over your tunic and like have every pouch possible sculpted onto your tunics and your models, and you want to paint that, I'm not going to take
Yeah.
that.
I'll tell
away
you one of
from
my favorite minis at the minute is the Cavalier Marshal for Cities of Sigmar on the horse.
Yeah, yeah.
Where he's like
Oh,
on the rock,
so
and he's got like
fancy.
17 saddlebags,
much.
and I'm
So
like, but it does look stunning.
It does.
It does
Yeah.
look stunning.
But that's
but
a general, right? And
but-
I'll put that time
He's
into
a
a
big
general.
fan.
He's actually a Peach, really terrible in the game, yeah, and the concept of even spending more than about an hour on him, because this is the other thing as well that I think is quite interesting.
Yeah, because I don't think about that, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Like, because he's
'cause-
a general, so of course he's gonna pay off, right?
Because if you want to attribute value, because like effectively value depends really on, like, if you do want to build and paint them, and that's value. But if you only ever seen that as a barrier to be able to play the game, and then that value is really fluctuating. Like, is it good? Is it bad? Like, and like people are going to say, oh, but can't you just have fun? You can't have fun with bad stuff.
You can't
That's
have fun.
You can't have fun with bad stuff. Like,
You
you
can,
can't.
but you might not have as much fun.
I'm not
I've
saying
had fun with bad stuff before.
Okay, I'm not saying about being like overpowered, but like in some cases, like if you're like, my cool thing, and then someone goes, that's dead on the first turn before it's ever moved. I don't know how you had fun with that. Like I don't know how like that was remotely engaging.
Especially all those hours of painting.
Yeah.
it.
yeah, like especially if it's got 18,000
you always
saddlebags.
Yeah.
put your best painted miniatures to the back, and that's like an unspoken rule.
Yes,
isn't
yeah, it needs to die last,
and it's
right?
like the dick move, and to like, because I had this Squigoth that I really loved, and it was my first Forge World miniature,
Yeah.
and it was always like the dick move to kill it first.
Yeah.
right, kind of an unspoken rule. It's I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Anyway, so Cavalier Marshal, I keep looking at it. My friend Eater
is
Brushes
beautiful.
recently sent me a picture of his, and I was like, wow, that's stunning. I really should paint
Oh,
mine
yeah.
up. Like, that looks beautiful. And then I
But-
looked at it and I thought, that is such a potato I would be painting. Like,
It's
is it like the
your
quality of the
Gundam.
sculpt?
It's like your Gundam thing, right? You're like, I can't justify spending all that time on something that isn't going to reward me in the future.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And like, you know, so value isn't just like, oh, you know, it costs £37.50 or whatever. Like, can you build and paint it? It's also like, actually, is there any justifiable use for this thing?
Yeah.
And I think that's
Is
why.
it going to pay off in the future? Is this an investment for my future enjoyment and not just like, oh, I bought something expensive. That's kind of fancy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is also in of itself its own thing. You know, people are like, I bought a fun mini.
Yeah,
like, it looks
yeah.
great. I love that. You're like, that's cool. That's fun. You bought
Yeah,
some art
sometimes
that you like.
expensive things are fun.
So, something I want to throw out there as well is like take the Stargrave kits and the Frostgrave kits. Like you add the detail if you want more detail. You've got pouches and rucksacks and stuff that you can add onto the models, but there's just enough detail there and surface area that you can have fun making your own textures.
Yeah.
One of the things I found from my experience of doing workshop kits is like, let's say you've got like a Cadian model and it's a cool sort of like one-off limited edition figure and you want to do some cool camo on him, but you can't get that much camo on him because he's got a strap here and his gun strap's covering that
It would
bit.
look messy.
So this is the thing is when you start trying to do a camo pattern, it's broken up by all these other details going across the model.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I've got a little bit of tunic down here. I'll do some more of that camo there. Then when it's at like arm's length, it just looks like you just didn't paint it properly.
Yeah.
I've had miniatures like that before
yeah.
where I'm like, oh, I'm going to put in so much detail on every single element. And then when you look at it, you can't
It
see
just becomes
anything.
a mess, doesn't it? And, you know, obviously the heavy metal guys are very good at doing like real good jobs for close-up photography, but most of us don't have that time or want to do that. So when it comes to trying to make those effects, it just looks a bit messy. Whereas with the Stargrave like trooper kits, is like they've got some armor, nice big flat plates. They've got some tunics and they've got some boots and they've got some belts. That's it. There's no straps getting in the way of things. Just like, I want to paint some cool chipped armor. I want to paint some cool camo on the.
That's why
clothes.
I think classic Space Marines are kind of good because you can put. I think that's why they're so popular because you can put all of your own kind of like stuff on it.
Yeah.
But
Or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's a weird one, and it's why a lot of people are like, oh, why don't they just release a box set with sisters, like one of the core box sets with sisters of battle versus someone? Because there's that thing where it's like, there's been like 2 female miniatures and across all of their like releases for 40k in the what they call like the main release box sets.
Yeah, the FOMO boxes.
No, not the FOMO boxes.
Oh, the launch boxes?
Launch boxes, that's it. And someone's like, why can't you just do sisters of battle versus orcs? And it's because you can't put yourself into a sister battle as much as you can with a Space Marine because they do have all that open space that you can like do your own patterns.
Also, it's what the
and stuff
whales
on.
buy. Like, just make
What, Space Marines?
Yeah, just make more content for whales, so they just keep buying the content all the time.
Not the country or the animal.
No, neither.
What you mean there is people that will just buy any. What do you mean by
Any
whales?
Space Marines, like any and all Space Marines.
Am I a goblin whale?
Yes, you are. You're a goblin
Yes,
whale.
I'm a goblin
That's
whale.
true.
Do you know what
Peachy
we
is a
mean by-
human's whale.
Peachy's
Yeah.
Peachy's a human's whale. What
Yeah.
are you a whale for?
Anything
know.
Age of Sigma.
Ogres.
Sigma
Oh,
whale.
ogres.
No, I mean I like
You
old
are an
world.
ogre whale, actually.
Yeah, I like
I think-
ogres loads.
Yeah.
I mean I like old world. Sorry, loads and loads.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I built this beautiful Marauder kit. Or
Oh yeah,
Marauder
what have you
unit.
been doing, Rob? Let's transition to.
Oh, thanks. I
Overwatch.
wanted to
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of before we did that, I just wanted to finish off with because then because you did your big tier video, but then also you've been spending some time on some Rascal stuff.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Took
so,
us a while, but we got
Yeah.
there.
Sorry, I tend to do that.
Same.
Yeah. So I've also I didn't really know what to do this week. So Rob was like, "Why don't you work on Rascal Town?" Because my thing is always like, I don't have time to spend. Because I'd love to do for Rascal Town what I did for Blood Bowl, which is like, okay, Louise, you've got 3 months. We've got this book coming out. We need 9 images, a map, some like page decorations, and you can write some lore. And I'm like, that's my job for 3 months, is just doing that. I would love to do that for Rascal Town, but I do not have like anything that allows me to stop doing what I'm doing right now for 3 months and just work on Rascal Town. So
It would be a massive risk, and maybe that's not worth like.
I haven't
that's-
thought about that.
Yeah, that would be like that's a big risk, right? That's the other.
I would just want to do it anyway because it's fun. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. What I'm saying is I don't have the kind of like security blanket to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I'm always like, oh, I'd love to do it, but I just don't have time. So Rob's like, this week he's like, you're doing it. You're just doing it. You're just gonna do it. So I'm like, oh, but I still need a video to do for 2 weeks' time. So we've decided to do a fun short video, which is an "Am I the Asshole" video, but for
Yes.
Warhammer. and that's really fun. So I sent out like a little prompt to invite people to tell me their stories. And I, in the meantime, have been fleshing out Rascal Town lore, which has been more questions than answers. Because it's questions like, so I want to in the future have things like bee riders and like the rascals being like kind of downscaled in comparison to other animals and things. So there'll be like knights on squirrels and stuff. But at the same
Sounds
time,
awesome.
at the same time, the rascals also have squirrels which are regular scaled on them.
Okay.
So what's the lore
a
behind...
dire squirrel.
That's exactly what Chris said. Yes. He's like, it's easy. You don't need to even explain it. Any animal that's big, you just put dire in front of it.
That's how I do it.
Yeah, literally that's what he says. Because Chris does, they work on their own system called Doomsong.
Yeah.
And I was like, writing lore is really hard. Like rules for an entire world. So like the first question is like, where is Rascal Town? Like, is it a planet? Is it a realm? And I'm like, I don't want to.
Well, it's in the
tier.
laugh of
God.
a baby's first laugh.
So then it's fucking awful. Just
I said that and I was getting ripped for ages by
Literally.
everybody.
Could Rascal Town be anywhere?
Yeah.
So I mean,
So I'd rather that. I'd rather
in the
that than
realms of
nail it
Frostgrave,
down.
Rascal Town could exist.
Yeah.
In the
I-
realms of Middle Earth, Rascal Town
in the
could
pocket
exist.
of a baby's
my-
first laugh.
Jesus. So then, so like we were discussing it with our other friend who was there, and we were like coming up with little whimsical stories, and Rob's like trying to be whimsical, and it's the funniest thing I've ever witnessed. Because he's like, yeah, but what if Rascal Town was born from the laugh of a newborn baby? And we were just losing our shit.
Yeah. Why not?
But it's because it's kind of lame.
Yeah. Do you know what? Maybe it is, but that's fine. Yeah. Because.
From the tears of a first spring's dewdrop.
But then no one asked me any more questions, and I felt that was really positive. Yeah.
Anyway, so like there's more questions than answers right
Yeah.
now, which is like,
That's good.
why are there vastly different sized animals? What are the different species? Where
I like
did
that
they
you were
come
coming up with
from?
conflicts.
Oh, that was it. Like what? Where? Because one of the categories is history, and then it's like wars and conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
And we're thinking those are going to be really low key.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's an entire tapestry, an ancient tapestry about this guy that dropped his plate and it chipped a little bit. So because that's about as much as I can tolerate.
As the drama.
As drama.
As the
I
conflict.
mean,
Yeah.
what, 70 years from now, people will be looking back and going, well, what she meant by this was this, and then do
Yeah.
this whole
like Tolkien,
dissertation.
like
So,
she was
yeah.
racist.
It's like
She was
Tolkien.
trying to tell us about white people.
So Charlie was asking me, like, who are the Blue Wizards then, Daddy? And I was just like, I've got a role play book which gives them names, but they're not the real names. They're
Yeah.
not like the names
Yeah.
that Tolkien, because I don't think he ever gave them names.
This is it. This is why I'm like, right now, I don't want to nail down Rascal Town is a planet.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I just don't want to.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. So there's things I'm purposely leaving out. The animal size thing is bothering me though, so I'll work on that.
Have you enjoyed the process of the creation?
Yeah, it's been cool. Like I said, lots of questions right now, but I'm gonna take myself on a little holiday to the seaside so I can go sea glass collecting, and then I'm gonna try and actually think about it, because right now I'm just asking loads of questions,
Yeah.
and I think I need to just like relax my brain and give myself some space to be like creative about it.
Something to throw at you.
Yeah.
So I think it's is it the Wizard's Apprentice or something like that? It's the first of the Chronicles of Narnia books.
Oh yeah, okay.
I want to say Wizards.
I know.
Yeah.
I've known them all. Yeah.
It's the first one.
Yeah.
A nephew or something like that.
I think it is like the wizard's nephew or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah. I gotta
It
Google
starts off where it's talking about how Narnia was made.
Yeah.
And it's
It
all to do
was
with like Aslan being God and whatever.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I forget which it is now. It's Jesus or God. But animals have the option of being able to
magician's
talk or-
nephew.
Magician. Thank you.
The magician's nephew. Yeah. And then
Uh,
it's the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes,
Yeah, got
but
it.
all the animals are given a choice to talk or not. Because as he's given life to Narnia.
I have that as well.
So
I like
that
that.
could be the thing with like your
The
creatures. They
animals.
either are just normal creatures or
I
they're
quite
special
like
creatures.
the idea of sometimes they're just born really fucking big. Like there's this tiny little squirrel mum and she'll have her squirrel babies, except one of them's like just
a lot of porridge.
massive.
A massive squirrel baby.
I just like some of them are just born really big.
Yeah.
And then it's like the question like why are the rascals kind of animal-y? Sometimes they have like foxtails and stuff. It's loads and loads of questions.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what is a rascal? Do they get along with everyone else?
That's the great thing about being an artist. You never answer them, do you?
Never need
Not
to
until
answer.
now. I've
No, you just don't.
dug myself into a lot
just
of
don't answer
holes
them.
because
Let everyone
everyone's
else answer
covered
them.
in mushrooms, and I'm like, what the fuck's with that?
Why not?
Why is everyone? Do they
Louise
eat
likes
animals?
mushrooms.
Do they talk? Do the animals talk? Why are we eating animals that talk? Like Pokemon kind of fucked themselves up with that because they were like, there's no animals, there's just Pokemon, and then they're like, Rattatas, the rat type Pokemon, and everyone's like, what the fuck's a rat?
Yeah.
Do they eat Pokemon? Yes. Is that okay?
It's cannibalism.
Yeah, great.
Literally. It's all a bit strange in Pokemon. So like I'm trying to ask weird questions now. So I know what I want to leave ambiguous, but I know why I want to leave
You
it
need to give it to
ambiguous.
kids.
Okay, that
kids
makes
will answer
sense.
all the questions or ask
Oh
all
my
the
god.
questions.
I also want to do a competition which is for like kids. I think it'll be ages like 0 to 15 to design a rascal for Rascal Town.
Nice.
Because we saw, who was it?
That was great. There's a 3D sculptor Patreon called Dragon Tapper's Lodge.
Oh, I love Dragon Tapper's Lodge.
And this month they just had
Their
a bunch
theme.
of kids send in some drawings, and then they had their sculptors turn them into real things. Like one of them was a
so
loaf of
good.
bread with the face of a cat that was a
bus.
a bus.
It was it was bread
and then
cat
they,
bus.
and they sculpted it, and it looks mental. Like, and it's truly, it honestly is a
It's the
beautiful little
best
moment
thing. Yeah.
because you see the full design. And then you see the drawing.
And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
designs, they've done them really well. They've
Yeah.
made them like proper, like mythical creatures. And then you see the drawing and you're like, that's incredible.
Yeah, and
If
it's,
you ever
go on.
go onto Instagram, there's a page I follow called Openly Gay Animals.
No.
And it's so.
Wait,
it's
what's it called?
Openly Gay Animals.
Openly, I thought you said ugly gay
No,
animals. I'm like, that's
openly
really
gay.
mean.
And it's just lots of memes about animals. I'm not quite sure what the openly gay thing is about.
They're celebrating their
Yeah, yeah.
identities.
But there's one where they had something like that where there was a photographer or a graphic designer and the kids did drawings and he literally used real life textures and photography to make
horrific.
it's horrific. There's
Wow.
some horror stories
And
right
also
there.
openly gay, apparently.
Which is great, and I support.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing, and that's really fun.
Good.
But lots of questions, not many answers right now, but
Yeah.
good. It's a start.
It's a start. Like, I mean, you're building a whole world. That cannot be done in a day. That takes time,
7
right?
days apparently.
7 days apparently. That's my
yeah.
is that my cut-off point?
7 days. Yeah. Well,
Shit.
You get Sunday to rest though.
Yay.
So-
6 days.
6 days.
6 days. Barely any effort.
So what have you been doing, Rob?
Past couple of weeks. So it's been a lot. I'm sick of myself.
You're
I
sick
mean,
of yourself?
I'm
What
sick of myself.
sick of
Why?
yourself?
What do you
I'm
mean?
sick of
I'm not
myself.
sick of you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. No, I'm sick of myself. I've been making loads of videos about Age of Sigmar because it's just come out. Then we'll be keeping up old world stuff. Loads of exciting things about old world coming out. There's Warriors of Chaos stuff getting re-released and stuff that's fun.
Nice.
As
The
that's the art.
hills are coming back.
Yes,
the
all
what?
those scenery kits. Oh my god.
Oh yes, the scenery kits are coming back, so that's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
All that sort of stuff. But I've been streaming a lot. I've been running events. I run an event every weekend, and
That is a lot.
and then I've been making little videos at the end of the events, which have gone really well.
I love those. Rob will like film things around the event, and then he'll get some of the people for little interviews, and then it'll just be like a little event summary, and they're so cute.
Yeah, and it's really fun. It's like a recap. I'm like, oh, this army was really nice. This player did well. Let's talk to them. And they're like, yeah, I played Wood Elves, and like, I had a good time. And it's like, nice. You know,
That's a
like,
good impression of your
yeah.
friends.
Well, people really like those videos have gone really well, and people are really happy with them.
Yeah.
People
Which
like
is-
talking about their guys.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's nice is, I think honestly, I'm doing it in part so I don't have to listen to myself anymore. Like that's so I'm a bit sick of myself, and probably I'm at the end of being a little bit worn out.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think we're all a bit worn out right now.
yeah,
That's
yeah. So
okay.
like I do an event every single weekend. I work Monday through to Friday.
lot, yeah.
And
You've been doing those Age of Sigmar videos, which are I kind of think we knew you were gonna get worn out doing
Yeah.
all of the factions for all of the Age of Sigmar. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
Has it been worth it?
Has it been worth it? That's a great question. I mean, like now
good point.
because I'm further away from launch now. People are like, oh, this is old news. I'm not interested. But I do feel like I've got to complete the set.
Yeah.
Which is like 6 more to go. And somehow I was able to also amazingly pick the six most popular left till last. Brilliant work, me.
But isn't
so-
that like leaving the best to last? Like I do
Yeah.
that. I'd probably do the exact same thing.
Yeah, we're kind of like a month in now, and people are playing the games at events, and so now they're less interested. Although some people are still
Surely
interested.
they're more interested because now they're playing it.
No,
Or
because
is it not like new thing shiny anymore?
well, yeah, because they're like, oh,
I
well, I know
see.
how I've read it. I know how it works.
I see.
Rightly or wrongly,
What
which
are
I
the
think.
most popular ones? Stormcasts.
Well, most popular is kind of based on like what the army representation has been over the past couple of weeks. So Stormcast, Flesh Eater Courts, Skaven have been really
You've
popular.
not done Skaven yet.
Well, the new book's going to be out soon, so I was like,
saving
"Do you know
it
what?
for that."
I'll save it for those, and I'll just do it all in one go, because
Yeah.
otherwise. But I'm just a bit sick of myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No,
like,
I get
if
that.
I
eventually-
made that many videos in that short a time consecutively for up to 14 hours a day, I would also be just sick of, I guess, being outwards and not doing something for yourself.
Yeah, that's like when I've been coming home, I've been like, I just want to put a movie on. I don't want no expression of myself
This
outwards.
is what I mean. Yeah, you need stuff for yourself right now.
Yeah,
instead
so
of-
like this week, like if I'm being honest, I just kicked back.
Which is good.
I spent like 2 days because I have an event this weekend which I'm meant to be playing in. And then I've made a disaster where I've overbooked, and I've been working really hard to be able to play in these events so that I can actually enjoy my hobby instead of just being there for fucking 2 days doing nothing useful.
Yeah.
Although I did a really fun thing last weekend where we ran the event and I live streamed one of the tables, but instead of doing it on Twitch, which is like
this is fun. I think you'll like this.
which is like a big palaver.
Yeah.
I just streamed to the Discord, and then there's this thing on Discord you can set up called a stage.
Okay.
And then instead of everyone being in the Discord call, only the people who you set up in the audio can talk. So then I just made it so like you could hear the players, and everyone else could be in the room watching. And then they could type and stuff. So a bit like a Twitch stream.
It's like a TV channel again, because Rob can set up like 4 tables in different like room stages on Discord, and people can tune into the game that they want.
Yeah. So this weekend
Which is
I'm
really
gonna try.
cool.
I'm gonna try and
I
make
thought you'd
it
like
so.
that for like
Yeah.
PeachCon or something.
Yeah,
That
well,
would be
I still need to work out how to do streaming for PeachCon, but yeah.
I'll help. I'll help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rob
yeah.
can
But
help.
the 4 tables here, I'm going to try and set up for this weekend so you can listen to all 4 of them. But I really wanted to just play this weekend, and I
Yeah,
messed
yeah.
up the scheduling,
no.
which I'm also doing. And then so I spent a bit of time this week just painting.
Which is great. It's
Yep.
been so nice to see you just.
Well, it's
kind of-
not because it's such a slog, isn't it? Painting. I was like, I started painting properly,
I
and
love
I was
that
like,
we're
right,
like,
okay.
we can't wait to paint, and Rob's like, can't believe this is how I'm choosing to relax.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Also,
I wasn't relaxing.
you're traditionally painting. You're not slap chopping, are you, Rob?
No, I'm slopping.
Can you
Slopping.
Slopping.
Can
Is this
we
where you
not?
paint the base coats in and then cover it in a wash?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Slopping.
exactly. Yeah, dry brush it white and then stick the contrast over the top.
I feel bad for not getting any peachy flesh.
Oh, it's fine, honestly.
He's already done it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's
I
covered
did
it. He's
now.
done it. He's
I
got
did it now. It's only 41 models, but like I won't have finished it by this weekend. But I
41
can't-
ogres, people. 41 ogres.
But I now can't play
Only
anyway, so
41
it's
models.
all pointless as it is.
Aw.
But I enjoyed the process, and then I also recorded the games from last week first time properly, so that I can try and edit them into something that's like
Yeah.
looking like a battle report that I want to do. So there's a
Bring
bunch of.
back tabletop in 10 minutes.
That's what I'm going to try and do. But it's
Yay.
just finding the time. Like
Yeah.
Louise said, we had loads of really lovely things, like Tom's White Inn and something
People
else.
coming over,
People
but we're
coming
just
over.
real run down, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's just been a lot. It's been a couple of weeks, and that happens in the creative sphere, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
people work a lot, and I think that's the thing that people miss a lot. Is people are working all the time, trying their hardest, and especially when it's not received well, that's like a gut punch.
Yeah.
But-
It is, because like it's more personal, and most people like us, we put in extra hours. So it's not like it's a 9 till 5, and if it doesn't work out, it's someone else getting the flack for it. It's very personal when it doesn't work
No,
out and it
agreed,
bums
yeah.
you out.
Well, it's personal and financial, right?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true
Like,
too. Yeah, I hadn't even thought.
You got
about
to like
it.
long-term plan what you're trying to
mean-
do, and we're also trying to like not. I'm not just trying to like make a bit of money and then just like chill.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like cool, like, and this is my own fault. So if anyone out there is like, oh, poor Rob, no, it's my own fault,
Oh, poor
and
Rob.
it's because I really want to like. So obviously, I run an event every weekend. I run an event every weekend because it's wonderful to have all these people here
It's
playing
pretty
games.
cool. I love
But
the events.
But it is my job.
Yeah.
Right. And the goal is that in the future, eventually, hopefully, I can work, like I can save enough money to put some money down on a venue we own.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then that venue that we own
Makes
then
money.
makes money, right? But hopefully it makes money because what we deliver is really good. We deliver a good product.
I love what you do here.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Like, and then same with the videos. I work really hard on the videos, so hopefully people are like, oh, I want to support that guy making videos because he makes really good videos,
Yeah, yeah.
which is the same as you two do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. yeah.
Like, so it's just. But you've got to doing those 2 things as well as a couple of other things every single week. Eventually, you're just like, this is rough.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
this is rough trying to push that
Yeah.
down the line. And because I'm not very successful,
Oh,
like
sure.
that's okay. I'm not upset by it. It doesn't upset me. I'm not one of the big hobby YouTubers. I don't
I
do
think you
sponsored
are.
ad. I'm not. I'm
I
not.
don't know.
No, slap
In
shop
certain
aside, I'm not.
circles.
No, but for Age of Sigmar, I
Yeah.
think you are.
But that's unfortunately not very big. It's not a very big
but
world.
Painting's not as big as lore YouTubers.
I know, but it's bigger than competitive Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, still, I think you're pretty good in your zone.
I appreciate that. But probably the right thing to say is that what I'm trying to do is, because at some point you got to be an adult, right? You got to be like, right, okay, I really like making Warhammer videos and running events and doing everything else, but actually, should I just be a fucking adult and go get a fucking job?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What, just get a
Like,
little 9 till 5?
Yeah, because I really want to provide. Like, my family is Louise,
Yeah.
right? And I really want to provide for my family.
And Nathan, but he doesn't live with us.
And Nathan B doesn't live with us. Yeah, and Oscar and all the other guys, right? And I want to provide for them in the future, like just like you do, Peachy.
Yeah.
Like, and
You're
if
such
honestly,
a good roommate.
and if honestly you,
Miss
because
that
we
one.
had this conversation, right? Like a while ago, I was like, Peach, what are your prospects in your current role? And you were like, not good. And I'm like, cool, you got a family. Do something about that. And you went and did something about that, right?
Yeah.
And like that's got to be a thing. Like your
Current role you meant at Games Workshop.
I did not mean that.
What did you mean?
Like it would. So the thing.
Oh, okay.
The interim.
Sorry, I'm really dumb today.
It's okay. So I was like, but like you got to provide for Charlie, right?
Yeah.
Like and if like, and I'm so glad it hasn't, and I hope it goes for you from strength to strength and is super popular. But if it was like absolutely garbage, yeah, you would be like, I'll go get a fucking job.
Yeah.
Because you got a family, right?
Yeah.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
exactly.
100p.
So I'm working really hard every day because actually what I want to do is this.
Yeah.
And then if it requires me to have to do 7 days a week, if it requires me to have to do X, like versus
It's a
getting...
trade-off, right?
It's a trade-off,
Yeah,
that's what
I
it is.
completely feel that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, you don't have to... No one has to feel sorry for me. I'm not asking anyone to feel sorry for me.
No,
because
yeah.
other
No,
people
we're
are just
working
like...
hard because we have big ambitions. Doing something for yourself isn't like a small deal. It's
No.
like a big goal, and you got to work hard for
Yeah.
big goals.
Yeah, like, every Friday night cleaning the toilets, like mopping the floor, like,
I quite like cleaning parties though; they're kind of fun.
yeah, no, fun,
I
yeah.
get to play my own music, and it's really good fun.
If you look
Actually,
at some of the massive successful people in the past, though, I mean, they've all started off with like grassroots jobs and like just doing like the hard work
I had
day in, day
Alexander
out.
the Great in my head, so I don't know. I thought you meant like a story.
Think him.
I feel think of some of the great people. I'm like Alexander the Great,
Alexander, he was great.
Caesar.
But yeah, like someone that's been like, got like a massive enterprise now of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to chuck any names because I'll probably offend someone going, that person's a horrible human being. But they all started off somewhere small. They had like selling things out of a wheelbarrow, working
Or they
long
just
hours.
posted a YouTube video occasionally because they really like something.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, it's like my mates. Like I've got loads of just absolutely like my one of my closest friends, Nathan, who I love to pieces. Like yesterday was like, "Do you want to play a game of Age of Sigmar?" And I was like, "I would like to do that more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
Get to see my friend." And I was like, "But Bud, I have got to try and finish this army so I can play it at the event next weekend because it's video stuff."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I get it." So I organised a game, and I sat near them while they were playing.
Yeah,
like
you kind of got the vibe.
I got the vibe.
Yeah.
Like they were playing, and I was like grinding away.
Spectating's my favorite way to do anything. That's a really weird thing to say, but like, I like hanging out with people when there's enough people that they can have fun and I can just kind of be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I understand.
That's a better way of explaining.
Because you feel. Do you just want to spectate this podcast?
Yeah. honestly, I just kind of like
well, we'll
watching
probably have
you
a couple
two.
of thousand people spectating at the end, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean,
Hi.
from my point of view, like this week has been like a week off because like a
That's
couple of
good.
weeks ago, Charlie was like, "Daddy." It makes him sound like he's really posh. He's
Father.
not. Daddy, can I have a pony, Daddy? No, he was like, when are you
Oh,
playing
capital.
with me?
Oh,
I've
capital,
got 6
Father.
weeks off. When are you playing with me? And I was like, I've got work to do, buddy. He was like, but surely you're going to have a week where we play all day. And I was like, I'll make a week.
Yeah.
so
Of course.
I've got to make.
That's like
I need
the
a week
most
off.
understandable thing in the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
very
I
valuable.
was thinking that even if me and Rob like got a dog, I would be like, I want to dedicate actual time off for this.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that I think you could have and also have a really busy lifestyle.
No, you can't.
Yeah, literally. Like a new puppy, like is like you've got to actually have time off for these things.
Yeah, and I don't want to work like this forever. Like
No.
I want to I would love to have a venue where I have some people who work at the venue and get paid well to work at the venue, and run the events and do them in the quality that I think that they would do, and I would still be there and stuff. But like at a certain point,
taking some tasks off you.
Yeah,
is what you mean.
you just cannot do every single one of the tasks, and I'm not like a micromanager megalomaniac who has to micromanage every task.
No, you'd love people to take it away from you. You are butter spread over too much bread.
I can't imagine a more rewarding thing than building up a business where you can then have someone who happily works in that business and like gets paid what they think is fair, and they can live from, and you built that. That's wonderful. Like all the stuff that we do with Tom, who's like Louise's sculptor.
I'm so happy Tom enjoys his job.
Yeah, and I feel really rewarded that sometimes I don't want to like be here at night like scraping all the lines off a goblin, but I'm like, do you know what? Like, you built.
That's exactly what I want to do.
But you know what? You've helped. You're creating like something so that people can live, and that's actually a beautiful thing.
And then other people enjoy what you're creating as well.
Yeah, and also that like there's people on the other end who are like super stoked about getting the thing.
Yeah, like somewhere out there's someone who's giddy with excitement about coming to your event this weekend, and I think you forget that.
No, I don't forget that.
Oh, because they have several WhatsApp groups where they say that every hour.
Yeah, that's the only thing that drags me out the bed. Honestly, and maybe that's true for anyone who's watching these videos. If you've enjoyed Juggz or Peachy's videos or Louise's videos, like those comments that you leave that say,
I cry.
This is the best. Like they're so valuable. That's what makes those people get up for the next time, right?
Yeah, for real.
That's good.
For real.
But talking about getting dragged up for the next time.
Dragged up.
Yeah, anyway. So I've been making videos. I'm sick of myself. And I've been running events. I've been painting, which is great.
You need a holiday?
Yeah,
you do need a holiday.
Yeah. I'm going to America in October.
I forgot about that. Oh, that'll be so nice.
To work.
But also it would just be nice to see your friends as well.
It will, because I love the American community for Age of Sigmar. So they're having the Age of Sigmar like North American Masters, which is like the world championship that I went to for
the Age of Sigmar Worlds.
It's like that, but it's just the North American teams all coming together. And do you know what? Really sweetly, they've just been like, we want you. Like they're like, we're going to fly you out. Like, to shout out to Corey and the rest of the Wicked Dicey crew. Well, they're from Boston.
Wicked Dicey.
Wicked Dicey.
I always say Wicked Dicey. You sound Australian.
And they're just flying me out.
Dicey.
So, like, even though I will be working for like 3 or 4 days, I get to spend time with a bunch of...
Yeah, they also really like you.
Yeah, and that's nice. That's nice. It's a job, though. At a certain point. They're like, do you want to have dinner? I'm like, no, I'm going to go to fucking sleep.
It's like,
I'm sorry. And then, anyway. So that's what I've been doing. But hopefully playing next weekend is what I'm looking forward to. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I hope you can.
I'm very hopeful I can.
I'll be going to PeachyCon next weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Very exciting. PeachyCon, you excited about that?
I'm terrified at the same time. Terrified because when this is probably out, PeachyCon will be a week away or about to happen. Yeah.
Oh.
So
okay, what are your hopes for? Because like the next episode be PeachyCon?
Yeah.
It'll
be pre-con, post-con.
Okay, so what are your hopes for PeachyCon?
My hopes are people won't be massively disappointed.
I'm sure they won't be.
I think they will.
I don't.
I'm going to put a message to the day before to like go in with really low expectations because
draw a really crude picture of what it's going to look like. Just like an empty room with you just being like, please like me.
So already I've learned a lot, and what's happened is I have kindly through Liz, there's a community lounge at a school which I'm using, but I've not actually had a chance to go and see it. Mm-hmm. I've got lots of photos. I know how many tables I'm allowed. It looks big enough, and it supports up to 150 people. Yeah, which is how many patrons I've got as my cap.
Okay,
including some family and friends.
Hello.
And a lot of people have asked me, can I bring this game? Can I set up this table? Can I do this? Can I do that? I'm like, I don't know how many tables I've got spare now because I've made a list of people that are coming and I've made notes of who's bringing a game. But then it's like, I've only got a phone number now. I've not got their Discord name. Shit, I should have got their Discord name. So I'm having to track back now to see who is the Discord that's definitely bringing Necromunda, which member of the Discord.
Can you not do like hello at everyone?
Well, I kind of did, but everyone was like, oh, I'll bring that game and I'll bring this game. I'm like, no, I want the people that originally asked. Maybe I didn't word it right. Yeah. It's my fault. So I've learned a lot. So next time it'll be better planned. There's not like, I don't know what people are expecting. It's not going to be like ChillCon or Salute or anything like that. There's no retail stands. I will take my mugs for people to buy. So I've got some merch. Take some you can bring some rascals by all means. I don't think I'm allowed to sell officially anything on the premises, but I've got some mugs too.
Interesting.
It's just some schools are fine with it. Like ChillCon goes to a school and they have retail stands, but where Liz's works. I'm not going to say the name in case you're not a patron. You just rock up.
Yeah. Screw you guys.
It's a secret.
Oh,
Screw
if
you.
you want to come, please join Peachy's Patreon.
Yeah, well, if you join
At
the Patreon, you can
Peachy
come.
Tips.
But also not too many of you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I've got
But
5
maybe
spaces
a lot.
left.
Okay,
Okay,
so,
so
right.
5 more.
5 of you.
Five of
the
you.
6th person, don't you dare.
Yeah,
If you would think
dare.
about it,
Don't you dare.
don't you dare.
But I'm super excited for it. It's more. It was always going to be like, thank you for being a patron. Thank you for supporting me. Here's some free food and chocolate and tea and coffee,
It's a lot of
and
money.
let's just chat and talk. And there'll be some games going off, so you can just sit and play. There's a couple of folks that are going to want to bring their own stuff. I've got like the sculptor Paul Hicks. He wants to do some
Well,
sculpting.
that sounds really
I'll have a
easy.
painting area for
Yeah.
people to just join in and paint.
Yeah.
You know, and like maybe some colouring in. I know you want to do some colouring in.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Everyone
So-
always loves the colouring in
I've
table.
only got 18 tables, so I need to make sure I've
I
got a
will
space.
be on the floor.
That's fine. We'll make space for everyone. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm just nervous that it's going to come across as being a bit shit.
I don't think it will. I think everyone's just going to be really happy to see you here
Yeah.
because every time you arrive on a Thursday, I am filled with joy.
Oh, okay. That's good.
If I give you one piece of advice, find something so that like people can interact with each other. Like as in, like otherwise you're going to spend the entire day like trying to make
babysitting
people.
everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to
Yeah.
make like
it's like having a wedding.
yeah. You need
Oh,
to. You need
yes,
to.
of course.
Yeah.
Because we were at Tom's wedding, and one of the ladies was like, I wish I didn't invite 200 people to my wedding because I spent my whole wedding talking to other
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so nice that many people are going to want to like talk to you
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff. But you're only one man.
Yeah, I'm only one man.
Just get someone else to dress up like another Peach,
Can I
Just
dress up like another Peach?
You have to
Yeah.
shave your head, though.
like
I
Peach from the
will
future.
not. I will. I like if we have like we could do like the what's that movie? What's that TV series where they have like Brother Dawn, Brother Day, and Brother Dusk?
Oh yes, Foundation.
Foundation. Yeah, we could have that with Peachy, where we have like Charlie Peach as like Brother Day, and then older Peach just get some random old man.
I'm a dad.
Yeah, to be like future Peach, and you can talk to one of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
smart. I like that.
Really smart.
Really smart.
Really
The
smart.
smartest.
Intelligent.
Do you know what's smart?
What?
Miniatures.
Speaking of miniatures, wait, what was the segue?
That was it. Speaking of miniatures,
Something like
works.
that. We're back.
Yeah. Okay. So I asked you both, to look at your favorite miniature releases from specifically 40k.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I am trying to lead a couple of ponies to water, so let's see what happens here because this might not work.
I ain't drinking, I'm drowning.
What I read was
Yeah, you-
forever. What was actually meant to be was 2 years, so I didn't read that
so
part.
neither of us, and it's really funny the way I knew that you hadn't read it either. So Rob, I think it was like 2:00 in the morning, and we were all awake for some reason. And Rob's like, "Your homework for tomorrow is to find your favorite 40k specifically."
Yep. 40k specifically.
specifically miniatures from the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And what me and Peachy read was, "What's your favorite 40k miniature?"
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
read.
And that's not even sometimes a 40k miniature.
So today I was like, I've done my homework. These are my favorites. And Rob's like, why didn't you read what I said? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I said the last 2 years. I was like, fuck. So then Peachy came in. I was like, Peachy, you done your homework? He was like, yep. And I'm like, it's the last 2 years. He was like, fuck. So neither of us read what you'd actually said, and we both just got excited because you said, what's your favorite miniature? So here we are now, re-prepared.
So the reason
Kinda.
I'm asking this
Kind of, I
question.
forgot what they are now. Have you as well?
The
Yeah, me
reason,
too.
reason I'm asking this question. Oh, do you know what? Before we go any further, and in the comments below, immediately tell us what your favorite couple of 40k releases
give us
were
your favorite 3
from the past.
40k releases in the last 2 years, and we'll find out if they line up with us.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna do that first, and then I'll try and expand the conversation
Yeah.
out.
Rob's got
Right.
a grander narrative on the go.
Maybe
here.
we'll see. It might not work.
Okay.
So, Peach, just give us the first one.
First one.
Yeah.
The first one I can think of
I
is
need
going to be the new commissar for the Astra Militarum.
Yep, great, classic.
Classic. Why do I like him? I like him because he's not overly complex with detail.
I'm googling it as you say.
Yeah.
I like him because, as is always the way for Mr. Peach, is I can use him in any game system I want to because I
love
can
that.
use him in Necromunda, but he's also got like a large Stormcloak on,
Fun.
coat, that I could probably get away with using him as like a witch hunter for Warcry.
Yeah,
Just
for sure.
change his hats and change his sword. So usually when I'm picking figures that I like, it's because I've got multiple reasons to use him. But I also just like his stoic pose.
And he's just kind of a cool army guy.
yeah, a
Yeah.
cool army guy.
He's a cool classic.
That's
and
very fair.
And I think he looks very Warhammery as well.
what would throw some people out there is I quite like the classic commissar where they've got like the sort of broidered police and they've got like the massive hat, whereas this guy has a slightly smaller hat and he's hidden by Stormcloak, but I kind of like
He's
that.
a bit more understated compared to a lot of like more classic commissars, but I think he's still really good.
All right, Louise, what's your first one?
So my first one is it might be like 2 and a bit years or something like that, but it's close enough.
It's fine.
The Inquisitor model. It was an event exclusive one, and he's got a sword in the ground and it's got a big flame coming out of it. He's got a big red cloak. I've got a picture right here. Wait.
I'll put a picture up.
I know, but I want to show Peachy.
Okay.
This guy.
That guy, yes, him.
This guy. I think again.
What do you like about him?
When you were asking me about like what 40k miniature do you like best, like before you said like, oh, it's got to be one within like the last 2 years. My first thing was like, I love the Warhammer 40k setting so much. I like the themes. I like the gothicness, especially in the Imperium of Mankind. I'm kind of specifically talking about the Imperium of Mankind here. Like, I love the gothicness. I love the spookiness. I love the aesthetic. That's, for me, is so definitive of 40k. I'm like, what miniature really sums that up for me? And originally, it was one of the chaplains in, like, Terminator armor. It's just a big guy that looks like a walking church. He's got a big skull, and he's got all this gothic stuff on, and he looks great. But they've not released any much like that recently. I think they did do a chaplain for Dark Angels, and we'll come back to that. But for me, that's one of the miniatures they've released recently that kind of does that for me. And if we were like scoping it out a bit more, I'd pick probably some AdMech miniatures that also have that kind of spookiness and stuff like that. But he is just a cool, very spooky, Warhammery looking guy.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. My first one is so I like the entire Kroot release.
Yeah, you do.
I really liked
Can I see?
The
Kroot riders.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
And this is a character that's like a Kroot because there's a paint job where someone did it all in red. So this and I thought it was great. And I don't actively play 40k at the moment. And as we've already discussed in this show, like unless I'm planning on playing it, then my mind kind of like devolves away from it. But I thought that was super cool. A couple of different reasons, maybe exactly the opposite of like Louise's thing, although I like everything she says about the Imperium, with my favorite releases being like GC Lacoste, AdMech.
Oh my God.
Like just very, very cool. And I like Guard as well. But I like that because I was like, cool, the universe is expanding.
It's different.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I love Tau
different.
because of that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, fun. That's a good dynamic release. I haven't seen it before. That's interesting. That the miniature feels quite world buildy. You can see some nets and some harpoon stuff, and you're like, that's really fun. It doesn't look very grim dark, to be honest. It looks quite like cutesy fun. I did not get like the grim dark from it, but like I liked it. So that's my first one.
That's a good one.
Thank you, Peach.
Second, along the same vein, it is Kroot related.
Oh, fun.
But it's the Into Dark set. So when I started painting some of the Into Dark sets, Kill Team.
Yes, of course.
That set, I think, is great for a lot of reasons. I love ship corridors. I love the idea of boarding actions. I really like the breaches. But when I was painting them, I actually fell in love with the Kroot because I've been so used to the handful of metal Kroot hounds and Kroot characters and the same plastic Kroot that's I feel have been around for 50,000 years. But it's, they're what, 20 years, 30 years old. So seeing some new plastics that have some parts you can change, but just seeing them re-envisaged. And again, I can use them for Necromunda. And I've actually used a few of them for Stargrave now as well. So some of the Kroot I've got finding ways into my Stargrave.
I love that.
I love Kroot.
Warbands. But that for me was the first sort of set of Kroot that had come out that were plastic. Really liked them, fell in love with them, really enjoyed painting them. But yeah, much like you, they look kind of grim, but it's not the same kind of grim dark that you would expect for like some of the stuff you've seen in the past.
It's odd. Like they like with Imperium, they're like, we know what grimdark is.
Yeah.
Like, cool. So everything is in that grimdark space. They're like, but what if we don't even think about it when we make some Kroot? Like, that's how it feels.
Don't even think about what?
They don't think about the grimdark. They're just like, it's a salamander guy.
Are orcs grimdark?
I think orcs have. I think in some ways, like I think they have that.
Eldar can. I think pretty. Yeah, it's a different kind of like. It's interesting. You're right. Like the most grim dark and that kind of like what we think of it classically is the Imperium.
Yeah.
And then I think Eldar kind of get away with it. Dark Eldar definitely.
Dark Eldar definitely, I feel it. But I think a lot of the races, it's almost like they're still in that process of designing it and moving it into the grimdark aspect because it is very much like elves with lasers.
Yeah, do you know what? That's a good point. Orcs are not. Orcs
Yeah, I don't
are
think
like
orcs are.
antithetical to like the Imperium.
Yeah.
Like,
That's-
and maybe just because
they're kind of like what's it called? The comic relief a little bit.
yeah, but then because of that, maybe that's why they feel so disconnected.
Do they?
Like,
What do you mean?
well, like maybe they don't like. This is just not what I was expecting to go, but like
Oh.
maybe they are like because I always. I'll save that till the end. I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
Right. What's your next one?
So we had to have a little tussle for this one because it's both of our favorites, me and Rob, and it is the kill team with the Votan guys.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
Votan kill team. Love. And if I could reach it out further, I would also include the Necromunda squats as well, the Votan they did for Necromunda. I like the Votan. I'm a bit because they kind of look like short space wolves to me. It's so exciting that we got like another race introduced to 40k. Like that's monumental for me, especially. Like Kroot we kind of already had. I'm excited for maybe Vespids being reintroduced with the new Elysian drop troop stuff. That's going to be
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to next week discussing those. That'll be fun. But I wish they kept a little bit of the old squats in the new Votan. Like, it would be really cool if they were all from, like, mining planets and they were a bit, like...
More Gene Stealer culty.
Yeah, more Gene Stealer culty. Oh, that's right. But then would they be too Gene Stealer cultery? I hadn't thought about that. Either way, I just really like... And yeah, this is also one of Rob's favorites, too. So I stole this off him.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Fully. Because I was like, oh, no, they are my favorite.
I actually bought that set for myself and gave it to you.
I haven't done anything with it yet. I just really like it. Sorry. But yeah, I really like them.
Good. My second one is I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go to Necromunda. Still in the 40k setting.
No. My like thing was also the Necromunda guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's the Ashwood Ranger.
That's such a hot take.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that the
The kind of
enforcer?
cowboy-looking guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
get a picture
he
of
was
him.
great. Like he was, like it was really fun. Obviously, that point, obviously, because Secundus is out now, you're in, you're out in the Ashways. It's fun. It's like very much like the old head of like the judges in Judge Dredd that with
He was
the
a
old
cool
one, the
there you go,
80s.
him.
Yes, yeah.
Like-
He's a cool guy.
It's quite clearly that guy that went out into the wastes and stuff. And I was like, this is just really fun. It's really well sculpted. It's got a great dynamic pose. And again,
Yeah,
like
it's so
most
sweet.
Necromunda stuff, it actually feels viscerally like 40k.
I feel like my entire top 3 could have all been Necromunda miniatures.
Well,
I agree
yeah,
with you
yeah.
100%.
Like easily best releases of 40k for the last however many years they could all be Necromunda
Okay,
miniatures.
well then, do you know what? I'm not going to ask you about number 3, and instead I'm going to get
Man
to
of
where.
the Sassy Nurgling.
Good, thank you. I'm getting.
What's the last 2 years, but it's just in
It was
there
like
anyway.
I get Louise like this one. I'm like that was 8 years ago, Louise.
How was Sassy Nurgling 8 years ago? Because you're right, it was with the was it 7th edition that
The
had
eighth edition Death Guard release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm old.
Yeah. Anyway.
Fuck.
Okay. So the reason I've asked you about those questions because I want to I want to put a flag in the ground,
Yeah.
and I want to say to anyone watching, everyone here has already quoted about some art that they love. We already like minis that have been released recently. Okay, that's the first bit. So my follow-up question is, and I get, I'll jump straight in with Louise. Why?
Hello.
And Peachy, do you agree with the statement that many of the picks could have been Necromunda and not 40k?
Yeah.
All right.
Not main release 40k.
Yeah, so what is the difference, in your opinion, between main release 40k and Necromunda at the moment, and why you think the Necromunda sculpts are, I'm not going to say better, but
More creative?
let's go for that.
This is something like I've wanted to put this on the internet for a while, but I'm scared of the internet, so I haven't. But I've seen this, and I don't know, say in the comment section as well, but also you two, like recently in all of my little Discords, all the little group chats I'm in, people are like, and then I've seen it on Twitter as well, like people are talking about this who aren't just me. People are like, we're waiting for 40k to wow us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought it was just a me thing, because I'm like, I'm just used to seeing Space Marines. I've just seen Space Marines for the last 15 years of my life. Like, most of my life I've been looking at Space Marines. So, of course, I'm not, like, goo gaga eyes over, like, whatever Space Marine comes out next. Like, it's just natural. But then people are like, no, I've been into Warhammer for a year, and these aren't cool. Like, these aren't creative. These aren't, like, wow. And then I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, but I've seen Skaven for the same amount of time I've seen Space Marines. Like, I probably knew about Skaven before Space Marines, so why then did the Age of Sigmar ones absolutely blow me away?
Yeah, that's
Like,
a valid point.
Absolutely. Like, I'm used to seeing a big rat, which has lots of stuff on it, but still, the Age of Sigmar miniatures are blowing me away. Even the new Stormcast. I thought Stormcasts were pretty boring when they were brand new, but I'm looking at new Stormcast miniatures that came out recently, and I'm like, those are fucking cool, right? And I thought it was just me, so I kept it inside because I don't want to be a dick, and I don't like being like overly negative about things, which is like, cool, then don't buy them. It's not like you don't have to bitch about something that you don't like. It's okay not to like things. But I have noticed, and other people have noticed too, that it feels like it's been a long time since 40k, main Studio 40k, not Necromunda, because they're crazy bitches, main Studio 40k has released something like mind-blowing. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is like, I've always known what a Space Marine looks like, but this is like really cool, like they did with Skaven. Like, oh my God, a Skaven god, of course it looks like that.
Yeah.
Of course. Like, I don't know what it is. And it's a weird feeling because I've seen other people talking about it too, and it feels like this weird kind of like meh sort of attitude.
Peach, what do you think about that?
So
I haven't
the only
seen it.
times I've been wowed by 40k in the last few years has been Necromunda or Kill Team. And there's nothing main range for 40k that's other than like, even like, let's say the Astra Militarum stuff, right? The Cadens that came out, they're cool, but I
They're
wasn't
cool.
like, I need them in my life.
Yeah.
I didn't
Whereas
go out
like
my way.
Gobapalooza came out and I was like, this is life changing.
Yeah.
This is now my frontal lobe developing into what it will become as an adult. Yes. Like, yes.
Keep developing, Louise.
Thank
You got this.
Thank you. I'm on a journey.
I'm honestly, I find it hard to put into words because,
Yeah.
like,
So are
my
lots of people.
argument originally was going to be like, well, maybe they're trying to reach a broader spectrum of people, but they do that with Age of Sigmar, and that works because all the ranges that come out for Age of Sigmar are really.
Cool.
Although I'm never going to buy all those collections, I look and go, they're really cool. I want them.
You share them with people
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God, look how cool this miniature is.
But I don't know. It's an
What's
interesting.
the last 40k miniature that blew you away? That's what I was trying to
I would
think.
say if we're not talking Kill Team and we're not talking Necromunda,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to say Yvrain.
Oh, yeah, stunning actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Eldar with all the...
Yeah, when they did the Gathering Storm thing.
Yeah, I think that was Dave Thomas that sculpted.
Was it?
I think so. It might have been one of them they did, but great sculptor. But yeah, you're right. I shared that. And like, maybe like, I loved Mortarion. I thought Mortarion was really cool.
Well, it's good. It's good. I'm glad you both got there because and it seems to be working. My little plan. Loved it.
It's true. It's true.
Have we fallen
Well,
into
Yeah,
a
yeah.
net?
No. This Rob's been scheming.
Well, no, I think because this week they showed off the new Blood Angels, yeah, and the new Blood Angels are on the back of the Cotiers Mini, and the Cotiers Mini is off the back of that squat little Custodes guy.
And then
that
just
he
a lot-
wasn't a squat.
And a lot of Space Marines.
And a lot of Space Marines. In fact, earlier I said to Peach, I was like, Peach, what was in the Indomitors box? And you were like,
Yeah, literally. Like, think about the Indomitus box if you didn't buy it, or even if you did buy it, what Space Marines were fighting the Tyranids?
yeah, in the box.
Can you draw, yeah.
I can remember one. That's it.
And
I can't.
maybe before we go any further, let's just like put the biases to the front. Maybe this is all because all of us we've done it a lot,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, literally.
maybe it's not right now the thing that we're most excited and interested about.
Yeah.
So if you're out there right now, but like, I absolutely love everything happening in 40k, then that's a vibe, and you should stick with that vibe.
I wish I was there.
Yeah,
I
but-
really do. And I
but-
still get excited to look at Warhammer. And I have seen a lot of Space Marines. And I do now know what I like in a Space Marine as well, which might affect it as well.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
it's because you ruined it from within.
Maybe because I've just been ruining it from the inside. And
Yeah,
that's why
maybe.
it's changed when I left.
Yeah, maybe.
Help.
But like, my point is, do we think like, and you guys have both kind of nailed it for me.
Yeah.
Do we think that the sculpts like are genuinely being affected, like in their not wowness factor? Because Age of Sigmar, as an example, or Necromunda, even better. Like you, Louise, you worked in that department. You know,
They're fucking
like,
crazy.
Yeah, but like, there's no rules
They'll
really.
go around and you'll be working on a miniature and one of the managers will go over and he'll be like, "It's a weird little guy. You wanna fucking freak him up a bit more?" Like literally, like, because I think Forge World, and it may not be like that anymore, but certainly, and it probably is because they're still churning out very creative miniatures. it's a lot of people who sculpted miniatures, designed miniatures back in the day.
Yeah,
like there's not a huge amount of like, well, I think there is now. I don't know. Either way, I feel like there's a lot of like heritage punk in Forge World, and I even really like a great way to kind of put this in perspective for me is thinking, how cool are the fucking 30k miniatures, right? Because that's the Space Marine.
Yeah, it's
right?
true. Yeah,
How
yeah.
fucking, yeah.
I have a thought.
What do you think?
Ooh.
And this is just from conversations I've had with people in the past, and it's not written in stone. It's not like, you know,
No.
take it with a pinch of salt if you like, but I feel that the Specialist Game Studio have more creative freedom and
Forge World.
have, Forge World, and have more managers that also understand that creative freedom, whereas I feel the
Yeah.
Citadel team may be a little bit more restrictive.
Well, see,
I
that,
always,
no, that's
I always
interesting.
heard that. I always heard like, you don't want to go upstairs.
Well-
They'll take your fun away.
Well, that's kind of my point, right? Like, so, like, Age of Sigmar, as an example, like, isn't the big, as much as I would like it to be, it isn't the big IP for Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Neither is Necromunda or any of those. It is Space Marines, specifically Space Marines as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
literally.
it's
Yeah, like
Space
I was
Marines.
doing my lore video and I was like, fuck, it's all the Imperium.
Yeah.
Like, it's just what it's focused around.
Yeah, and it must, the oversight on each individual kind of like Imperial release must be must be massive. Like Coutier's more than
do you
anything,
mean?
and I mean this with love to the Coutier's designer, feels like
Oh,
I've
he's
never
not
seen.
a bad miniature.
But it just feels like to me, and again, this is all subjective based. Feels like to me the most managerially passed around miniature I've ever seen.
Yes.
Where they're like, yeah, take that off,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like, so you just
yeah.
end up with something that's nothing.
Yeah.
Is how it felt.
So this is the other thing that I wanted to bring up, because I feel bad like talking about a miniature that maybe I don't like, and I don't not like any of the miniatures that have come out. But a lot of the time, and I forget this, is that so we assume, or I assume, that every miniature that comes out is that sculptor's like magnus opum, like it loves it. The sculptor is like, yes, I have created this. This is the most creative thing I can personally come up with. Here it is. But the truth is, a lot of the time they'll sculpt something that they're genuinely happy with to a brief, and then it'll get changed so many times that at the end the sculptor's like, I don't like this miniature.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fair.
Like, and it's, I don't think it's fair to connect maybe a miniature which not a lot of people liked to a sculptor who was just doing what
Yeah,
their manager told
especially
them
when
to
you're
do.
not then seeing all of the managerial oversight. Oftentimes, probably not from sculptors themselves,
Oh, no,
from people
yeah,
who
yeah.
are not
But
sculptors.
then how does that work with crediting the sculptor?
Well, I mean, we could come back to that because I think that's interesting. Definitely.
Yeah.
So with the Courtiers thing, some of the I put through my head, just like devil's advocate. It might not. It could have been as simple as, let's say someone was working on it. It was either a trainee or whatever, and it just went a bit belly up. They struggled, or
They couldn't quite get the design language they wanted to fit in
or
with
like
the
it was,
new releases.
It was given so much feedback that it was just like, we haven't got time to release. It's just not going to work as release. So the sculptor that did do Courtiers had no time
Yeah.
to make what he had.
Yeah.
Because I've seen sculptors have to do like things to the wire and like go, suddenly that's been taken out. We need this in the next week or two. But like, what?
Yeah.
You've got a week to do this. So it could be, that could have been the situation as to why Cortez. I actually don't mind it because for me, again, I was talking about earlier about I can add those textures and I can add
A
those
Well,
lot,
so
a lot
not
of
to
people
focus-
said he's a kit basher stream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not to focus on Courtiers because, like, I think the
I don't
bloody.
hate them.
I
I've
think
got
the,
another point to get to.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
No, well, I wonder if it isn't that.
yeah.
I feel since the Desecrators came out, something happened.
What, the Desecrator?
The ones that have the stupidest guns in the world.
Oh, the silly Iron Man one.
Yeah, the Nerf guns.
Oh, they
Yeah.
were
So-
so silly billies.
How that,
Desolators.
So this is not to like stick any sort of hate towards the
God,
sculptor,
no.
but being in the creative studios, the amount of like hoops and hurdles you go through, that would not have, when I was there, that would not have got past.
You don't think?
No, because people looked at it and gone, that looks fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Take 50% of those guns off, you idiot.
Yeah.
Or whoever made that decision. And I generally feel that's not
Something weird happened.
something weird happened that snuck through and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Well, you get this a lot with movies, right? You get this a lot with like a lot of like artists. Like, it's when some a corporate person high up in a business starts making decisions based on like what's released, and as Games Workshop has got bigger, because this is what I'm trying to say, as Games Workshop has got bigger, right, and it's got bigger specifically around the Space Marine IP. Obviously, everything has grown, but as it's got bigger, that's meant that it's genuinely got more oversight. You know, like
There's more managers making more tighter decisions. Do you mean?
So what I'm trying to say is that there are more managers, or even maybe just the manager in charge is higher up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe someone much higher in the
The guy
company.
making decisions like, no, we're absolutely doing this.
Exactly. Or you're not doing that. And the safety, like, because the Blood Angels thing, like, I've not seen, they've been universally panned. Like, the new Blood Angels,
I
generally
just
not
wish
liked.
they had bigger wings. And they,
All
but,
wings.
but apart
Yeah, I
from
was
that,
going to say some don't even have wings, and they should have wings, shouldn't they?
have a big cough. Have a
Do you need
drink.
some water? Do you need some
No,
water?
I'll just carry on.
So the Blood Angels, I really, really don't hate. But at the same time, I shouldn't be like, oh, if they had wings, they'll be fine. I should be like, that's a step up.
Exactly.
Like,
That
I should be like, oh, they've added something which makes it better than what it used to be.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've not had that for an upgraded release for I think a while. And I'm not being a hater.
No
I
one thinks you're being a
promise.
hater.
And I'm not a tourist.
I'm just wondering, like, what the, like, because it's kind of interesting. I'm just wondering if, like, that's
A
something
lot
people
of people
felt.
are saying it's because of the Amazon deal. And that they're like, oh, we don't want it to be too weird. Or like the style language that they've agreed on for the Amazon deal. Because maybe the Imperium is going to be like the good guys in the Amazon deal. Or the characters which you want to relate to more. So maybe we shouldn't cover them in Aquillas and skulls. Maybe that's a bit much for people to understand. You can still have Aquillas and skulls, but maybe for the Amazon series, one of the design languages we've agreed on is less of that.
Then you
maybe.
take Rebel Moon. I mean, they're covered in skulls and Aquillas and God knows what.
Yeah,
And it's
because
an
they covered
atrocious
off
movie.
Warhammer.
May I just say,
I
I
don't
watched
know.
the
I don't know.
director's cut and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it more.
There you go.
Because there's more story that's
I quite
actually
liked Rebel Moon.
described.
Is this Rebel Moon 1?
Both have got
Oh!
director's cuts. and
0 times 10 is still
Schneider.
0, Peach.
Fair. But yeah, a lot of people think it could be because of that. I'm not so sure it is, but it's something that people are saying that they're trying to tone it back.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they are physically trying to, because the is it Cortez? I can't remember his
Cortez,
name.
whatever.
Cortez. That was a great example of people were photoshopping it and being like, all this miniature needed was a couple of purity seals, a skull, and a tabard. That's all he needed. Maybe a little book.
Yeah.
And it just didn't have those what would be very classic Warhammer style guide things,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, oh, you want to make that tank look Warhammery? Shove some skulls on it, lol. They're almost taking that away from
Yeah.
a lot of the releases.
They are.
Like
They are.
big angel wings.
Maybe we have more influence than we realise, and we talk about like there's too much detail on these models. Remove some of the detail.
But no, that- but-
Yes,
They're
Peachy,
taking it away.
Henry Cavill's gonna hate this. But
But Peach, maybe that is a thing that they genuinely think. Maybe they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but that's the thing. But the real question is,
yeah, that's something I hadn't considered. Maybe they're trying to tone it back to make it to prepare for a new influx of hobbyists that are going to come from the Amazon deal.
so I think that's
which is definitely
I
going
think
to happen.
that's a really interesting take, that the miniatures are easier to paint
Yeah.
I hadn't
for
thought
new
about
hobbyists. But ultimately, does that matter if they look not great? Like if like
New
the worst
hobbyists
thing,
might think they look great.
but maybe they also won't. Like if it doesn't wow you, why would, like, just because you're new? Like, why are you still
And
not wowed?
And again, the thing that I think of is like, why is Age of Sigmar wowing us though? If that's the case, why haven't they said, as a studio, we're aiming towards a wider audience of new people as opposed to 50-year-old people who've been doing it for 25 years who know that they have to do that much detail?
Yeah, like why are you getting like these amazing Skaven Stormcast sculpts that are kicking ass? And some people watching this video might not like them,
And that's
but
fair.
like,
but I've seen a trend of people talking about this.
yeah.
Which has made me feel better because I felt really bad about thinking this in my brain.
I mean, every time a Necromunda mini gets shown off, people are like losing their minds.
Someone
And they're like,
said like Necromunda is the only place in Games Workshop having the real fucking fun right now.
yeah, like,
no, agreed.
or like
Yeah.
Blood Bowl, like that gnome team, they're having great
Who
times.
said it was one of our friends came around yesterday and she was like, I don't play Blood Bowl. Like, we were having this discussion and she was like, I don't play Blood Bowl, never will, but every single time a Blood Bowl team comes out, I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all it needs to be. Like,
Yeah.
I don't currently play 40k, but all you need to do is when a new mini comes out,
You share
is
it
make
in your
me,
group chat,
is make
yeah.
me be a little bit jelly that I'm not playing it.
Yeah.
Like make something where I'm like, that's
Yeah,
cool.
like, I
not
want
where I look at it and I
Skaven.
think that looks like a
you know what?
pudding and I don't want it.
It looks like a pudding.
The most time I've ever wanted to collect orcs or collect for 40k or collect chaos for 40k has been Kill Team Warbands.
Yes.
I really like the Beast
How
Snagger
weird is
release.
that?
Yeah,
the bee snaggers are quite
Bee
interesting.
snaggers were great.
Yes.
The great white squig, but that's very tailored to my interests.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, maybe the most tailored to my interest anything's ever been from 40k.
Well, I mean, Kill Team's a perfect example, Peach. Like, Kill Team, like, it feels like their brief is like, build 10 excellent models
Yeah.
It's
that
the
are super
same
dynamic.
In, whatchamacallit, the Age of Sigmar equivalent.
Warcry.
Yeah.
But so then the question is, but I feel like that they've then started to translate that over into Age of Sigmar as well now. But the question is, why isn't that translating over to 40k?
Yeah.
And
What
I just
main
wanted,
releases?
yeah, and I just wanted to kind of take you guys through like the
Well-
journey of like asking you, did you like anything? Like, yeah, I did like something, but actually,
But it wasn't easy. If
It
you
w-
ask me what my top favorite Age of Sigmar miniatures in
past couple
the
of years,
last couple of years was, I probably struggle to name, like, to
Less.
narrow it down.
yeah,
My number 3 pick would have been a toss-up between Lady Hera, which is the one with the big flowing blue
Yeah,
robes,
she's great.
or the new Secunda stuff.
yes,
Because it's all very cool looking.
I do
and
love Lady Hera.
Big fan of them.
yeah. So like, what? Maybe I wonder what it is. I personally feel like it's because you get a lot of like world storytelling inside of the miniatures.
Yeah, I do. See, this is where my head's kind of at the moment. It's like with Necromunda, you can narrow the focus of the narrative, which then narrows the sculpting, where you can put more
I get what you mean.
detail in. No, it sounds really weird. Like,
You
not to say you can't put more.
You can like almost like narrow down the world building more, so you can get really detail focused about what individual gangs are doing.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
in that's
yeah.
quite a lot of creativity, maybe.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, you as opposed to doing like we're going to do a hive world army for 40k, that would be quite broad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do, we're going to do this specific gang or this specific actual named gang with this specific character and this random hang me on, and they all have their own story from a comic. You're like, oh, that's pretty cool, and they're all
Yeah,
very
then
detailed.
literally down to their bootstraps
Yeah.
are different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
There's
what
probably
would
an
you
element of
what
that.
would you like to like to be wowed by 40k minis in
Yeah.
the future? Like, what do you think? Like, and same question to everyone watching at home. What would you need? Like, what would you want
I've been
to be
saying,
wowed?
so like when I first got into 40k, I was being wowed because the Tau releases were just as cool as the Space Marine ones. This was in like 2010s,
Yeah.
right? So like the Tau releases, like the Yavara battle suit just got released along with like ethereals and stuff. It was fucking cool, right? Loads of little drones, and then I was like, that's incredible. And then like the next thing that was cool is like, oh, Chaos Space Marines, but specifically Slanesh and all that cool. Like so many other things that weren't just like Space Marines, they're Primaris, they look like Iron Man, were really getting so many cool releases.
Yeah.
And this is something you said, which is like you go first. You said you would. I feel like I'm stealing your thing.
It's okay, say it.
You said you would focus more on like the alien races, the
Yeah.
Xenos races.
Yeah, 100%. I would like, you could just, the thing is they can't. That's the problem. Because their business model is actually,
Space Marines.
their business model is, very much like we talked about when we make videos, right? Like, if
gotta
your
have a Space Marine in
numbers,
the
if your
thumbnail.
numbers has to be about Space Marines, then you got to make it about Space Marines, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they're a shareholder business, and therefore they got to make money. And they got to make money by selling you Space Marines. And because the largest portion of their sales is just dwarfed because these whales it's the same as like mobile games. Like, why are all the games on my mobile phone a horrible gacha buy to win game?
Yeah.
And the reason it's that is because the whales make so much money.
If they
that-
didn't do that, what's the point? Because they're making so much money.
yeah,
from
but
it.
they like, why would I question, why would I make a game that had 1,000 users that gave me £1 when I can just make a game that has 10 users that give me £10,000? Why would I ever make
see.
the other game?
Yeah.
And we see that in mobile games. They don't make those other games because there's no point. No
Yeah.
one's putting the money or the research or the time into making those because you don't need to.
Yeah,
Just-
like if you did a launch box, which was like Vespids versus Sisters of Battle, cool, probably really good, great miniatures, really creative. But what if it was Space Marines versus
Chaos Space Marines.
Chaos Space Marines?
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh.
It's just money in the bank.
Yeah.
So they're never ever going to move away from that. They're never going to go explore the other races in detail.
But so then my answer is that cool, do something sick in the lore that switches shit up a bit, right? So like I expected the Great Rift and the Indomitus Crusade to kind of be that because it was like we're doing something, we're actually progressing the lore. Oh my God, this is incredible. Like, there's been a great rift that has like split the galaxy in two, and there's this massive, and Primaris Space Marines, and it was like, but it doesn't feel like anything really changed in the lore. I would do something like, okay, the Emperor's dead. Now we've got Space Marines who look very different. Like, we still have all the old Space Marines who are still loyalist and stuff like that, but there's this new thing, which is like God Emperor infused Space Marines. And then that has like a great, introduce like another race who has come in from outside of the galaxy. And then have the Space Marines, I don't know, have humanity be split. So now you have like loyalist humanity, and like, what would that look like? And what do they build? Maybe they build their own mecha. Maybe they build their own machines, which are like bastardized Space Marines, but different, but not necessarily like chaos infused. Like, there's loads of things that you can do with the pre-existing lore, which means things are still the same if you want to do your Space Marines, but there's like Age of Sigmar. They do a bit of a reset. They're like, okay, humanity's building another mecha from scratch. Go. There's another Chaos God. Go.
It's almost like you need like another Badab War, or is it Thorian? There was the big civil war between the two sort of leaders at the time. I forget what Thorian. I forget his name now. Someone in the comments will remember. But that was all about like the religious side of it. And it kind of feels like it needs something like that. Like, you know, it needs the death of the Emperor. Then you get like different sorts of like, we're the mourning. We're mourning for the death of the Emperor. We're like, no, you shouldn't have killed the Emperor. We hate you. Why did you switch off the fucking, you know, life
Why
support
did you
machine,
kill our
you
god?
bastards?
Yeah.
We're not chaos, but we're not chaos now, but we're at fucking war, you bastards.
So I was like, what if the birth of Slaanesh happened whilst, like, because it's always been there, right? The birth of Slaanesh. I'm like, what if that was a release? That would have been huge. What if they were like, surprise, new Chaos God?
I think the problem
That would
is
have
maybe
been
like
massive.
coming up each one of those narrative hooks every time is pretty tough, especially when they under-resource those departments.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see something as simple as like, so Tyranids, 10th edition, it was Tyranids, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, I almost feel like that they should be encouraging as many Tyranid players as possible. They should be like, you know, over that course of that 3-year edition, because we know their editions at 3 years long now,
Yeah.
like they should just be
3
like,
or
cool,
4?
here's the Tyranids release. Do you know what? In 6 months' time, there's a few more Tyranids, there's a few more Tyranids, a few more Tyranids over the course of the time. So it's like constantly, it felt like over
Feeding
those
the
3
Tyranids,
years, you
people.
felt like you were just battling against Tyranids.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, it's Tyranids again. Oh, it's Tyranids again. Like, you felt like even if you, like, because, you know, they're your faction. You play Salamanders or you play Imperial Fist or whatever you play, like, you're the Space Marines guy, but you're constantly like, oh, it feels like, and then you really expand out Tyranids. You know, they're expanded out. Obviously, you release, and maybe you release some Space Marine units. So a good
Yeah, I was
video
about
with
to say,
Tyranids
need
as
a
well.
Need a little treat.
Yeah, a little treat every now and again. But then, you know, next edition, it's Orcs.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and then they're like, Orcs on release. 6 months later, a couple more Orc units, You got to constantly facing against Orcs over that 3-year period and make us feel like they're relevant. But they're like, okay, Tyranids are the bad guys. You're like, cool. Like, and we'll never mention it again for 3 years. Now Necrons are the bad guys. You're like, oh, okay. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think they do a good enough job in that way.
Like taking the Tyranids for an example is like, there's so much you can do with that. As a Tyranid, because I used to collect Tyranids and I've got Gene Stealer Cultists. That strain can affect anyone, right? It can affect Marines. It can affect Orcs. It can affect...
That's a cool idea.
So you could literally, you know, as a Tyranid player go, I love Tyranids, but I want to broaden out. It's like, well, you could have Gene Stealer Cult stuff in your army as well that's doing a thing because the hive mind is controlling this, but also
I like
controlling
the idea
them.
of Space Marine Tyranids.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, like the AdMech can get turned. So can... I'm sure
That's
Space
cool.
Marines can. I'm sure I read it somewhere that it is possible for Space Marines to be turned because of the Gene Seed kind of thing. But Orcs, there's definitely been like weird chaosy Orcs, and I think there's been Gene Stealer Culty Orcs and stuff like that. So you could, with the Tyranids themselves, get a player that only collects Tyranids to start collecting
Something else.
Yeah.
something
that's
else
smart.
that then
I like
adds
that.
into the army.
So I do it. So you think that to wrap us up, you think that we need to see... To wrap us up, do you think that we need to see like something more wowy come out of 40k to make it more
I'd
interesting?
like to. I've always got high hopes because, in my opinion, like it's it's the weirdest IP that they have. Like even between Age of Sigmar and 40k, I think 40k is way weirder. It should be. So I'm hopeful. It feels like it's been very Space Marine focused recently. I'm really hoping that they get like I just want the Amazon deal to happen because I'm in the back. You don't think it is?
I don't think it will.
No.
Oh no! Either way,
I was surprised.
Yeah.
And genuinely happily surprised.
I would like it to happen as
I would
well,
like
but
it to
I don't think it's going to happen.
But I feel like once they get that creative, because I feel like a lot, and maybe I'm even thinking this as well, that a lot of these weird decisions are being made because there's extra creative decisions happening outside of the company, which
like
are
lots
coming
more
in.
oversight and
Yeah,
stuff
and
like
lots
that.
more
I think that's just come
oversight.
from the fact that they're making loads more money. It's
Maybe.
just that.
Maybe. Either way, I'd like to see them get it to a place where they're happy so they can start being like a bit more crazy again, especially with the Imperium of Mankind. But I'm hopeful for future releases. I'd like to see some Tau stuff. I'd like to see more Eldari stuff. Like, I forget that they're even there sometimes.
Taking wings off Sanguinary Guard is the craziest thing. Like, that's it.
They
It's
got
that
little,
simple.
they got little budgies.
Yeah, they got tiny little pathetic weirds.
I quite like them. I want to animate them. I might do it later today where they're just like...
I couldn't even see they had like wings.
Yeah, on their jetpack,
I'm gonna show you.
they have
Little stubs.
like a little like fan, like a I don't know what to describe
Okay,
it, like
right.
one of these.
So
and it's
very
just,
underwhelming.
it's compared to an angel,
Yeah,
as they
yeah.
were previously. And Peach, you kind of agree with this? You feel like you see something more
don't
inspirational?
So when Leviathan came out, I know on the previous channel I worked at, they were like, let's get some stuff painted. I was not at all interested in doing any 40Ks for that release because I just found it dull. And that's not because any disrespect to the sculptors or the paint jobs. It's just, I don't know if I've just got so fatigued of 40K because I've not been excited for years. From
But
it.
have you been fatigued of 40K or fatigued of Marines?
Probably both.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that has come from I've built up armies.
Mm-hmm.
I've committed time into building these armies, and when it's finally come around to using these armies, immediately within like a couple of months, a new codex has come out, and now no longer can use this army.
That's tiring.
So I think some of that fatigue has come from being let down by the rules. But I will use my army however I want to.
Yeah, of course.
I won't go to a tournament with this stuff. But I think from not a background point of view, but from the box releases and just the stuff in general, other than Kill Team and Necromunda, they've hooked me. I'm like, more of that. More Kill Team. Kill Team's mega because, I mean, getting Chaos Space Marines, which are still quite cool, and just giving them an upgrade sprue that make them look like Night Lords and they're the best Night Lords
it's
I've ever
freaking
seen in
cool,
my
right?
life.
Yeah, they look
From
great.
one upgrade sprue. Why are you not doing that more often?
Yeah.
That was mega. Whatever you did there, that magic sauce, do that more. That was great.
If I had time, I'd play Kill Team.
Yeah.
The minis look great.
The only
I'd
thing
probably
about
play Kill Team with a different rule set. But
I would use Warcry
right.
for Kill Team, and that was one of the weirdest things. I've talked to a few people. Someone reached out to me on Instagram, going, "You had a chat with Liam Dempsey. You said something about like you were disappointed about the Kill Team rules. Can you elaborate more on that?" And I was just like, "Well, actually, I think it's because I was, and a lot of people were expecting a reskin of Warcry.
Yeah.
Because Warcry works. It's quite efficient. You don't need to like." Read lots of books. It's like within the first turn and a half, you're getting the idea of the rules, and it's quite intuitive as a rule set goes. Whereas they decided to reinvent the wheel entirely for this extra. And they could have used the previous Kill Team rules, which were also fine, but they made this new set of rules, which even now when I try and jump into the game, I'm like, what am I doing again? What do these shapes mean again?
Yeah.
How am I fighting? How am I wounding again? So I roll some dice, you roll some dice, and the ones that are the same, we move away, and then if I get more, I've caused wound. It's clunky.
Yeah.
So from a game point of view, not interested. I'll use Necromunda or Warcry.
Yeah.
But yeah, the models for Kill Team are
Here,
great.
So
Peach.
good.
I found the
We
picture
showed
of this
Peach the Blood Angel.
Yeah. Wait, there he is. Little stubbins. Little stubbins. Little.
So even like from the front, you just can't tell.
Yeah.
Because
And
I actually didn't think they had jetpacks.
They painted them red, and it was like, Space Marine,
Yeah.
right? like,
interesting.
yeah, that's what. For example.
Well, let us know in the comments below, like what you think.
Also, they got rid of their nipples.
Yeah, people were furious
Yeah,
about
people
that.
were really
Love some
angry.
nipple armor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you do.
Let us know in the comments below what you think that like, or if you think 40K is wowing me right now,
Yeah.
or if you think 40K needs to do something,
Yeah.
And then let us know what your thoughts are. I mean,
Or if
either
you
of,
disagree entirely with what we said, that's
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
fine too.
Or if you're like, this is the best anything's ever been.
has anyone got any shout outs to make?
I want to
Shout
shout
out to you.
out the Remembrancer for helping me with my video because his voice was great and I really appreciate his help.
Good.
I've already shouted out Nigel and Landon, so I'm going to shout out you two because you're both mega.
Oh, that's sweet.
I've not shouted you out enough.
Yeah, I'm just
'Cause
shouting
you
out
are my
Louise.
morale
I'm shouting out
booster.
Louise today for being brave.
I'm not been very brave.
You did great. You
I'm
did
doing my
great.
best. Anyway, it's been
Thanks for
fun.
watching, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.